Welcome everybody to the Texture Prop. This is second try tonight, third time overall for this podcast. A little backstage, a little inside baseball. I think that's what it means. Anyway.
Oh, we're doing a podcast now?
Not anymore. No, it's over. We canceled.
Oh, thank God.
CBS didn't renew our contract.
If this was like to go on YouTube or something, I don't know how I would react.
I don't know how you live it down. It's too embarrassing. Anyway, my name is Sam. I am your quote-unquote host. Who's the worst host? Seems like I know something to rhyme with that.
You are the worst host to ever live. You are a worse host than Hitler in Nazi Germany.
That's pretty bad.
I wouldn't say he's that bad. That's
I don't know how many people I've killed, but probably not as many as Hitler did.
Brandon, we talked about this. You go a little far with your trolling, man. That's.
I would say my feelings are hurt, but Hitler is just such an absurd reference that it's like...
Hitler is so abused that it has no meaning anymore.
Yeah, just poor people. Anyway, the ever terrible troll, Brandon, is with me. Brandon Lee Carey.
I'm a bad troll.
Anyone ever called you Lee?
Really bad troll.
Like, anyone ever call you Lee before? Just your middle
People,
name?
no, I have never been called Lee, ever.
Whatever you say, Lee. Anyway.
But I don't care if you do.
And we also have Garrett. I don't know his middle name or last name.
Hello.
Is your Twitter last name your real last name?
Glazewski.
Okay. I always read that as Glaze Whiskey, and I was like, you talking about, like, glazing, like just glaze?
No, he's talking about, like, the glaze on the Krispy Kreme donuts.
Oh,
Oh man, that's a good shit.
Garrett is Krispy Kreme.
No, I want Krispy Kreme. God damn it.
Oh, I actually had some earlier. We just ran out. Like,
There
there
are no more Krispy Kremes in Delaware. I'm pissed off about that still.
It's because it's in Delaware. They got the fuck out. And the man from Ohio, Chris Acharya. I think that's how you say his last name.
Brought to you by Monster.
Yeah.
Fun fact, it's called Ohio because half of the residents smoke pot.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep. We're going there. That's the standard of this
I will
podcast.
say I probably can't dispute that.
You're probably right. Anyway,
You're not helping your case, Chris.
No.
it's amazing that we can do the same intro several times, and every time something different magical happens.
It's high in the middle and round on both ends. All right.
Oh. Anyway,
That's what she said.
Brandon, tell me about Shadowrun Returns.
Right.
Tell me about games.
So I was playing Shadowrun Returns. I had already finished the Dead Man's Switch module last week.
Right.
And this week I had finally cleared the Dragonfall module, which is as good as Dead Man's Switch was, and it was really, really good.
Would you say it has better writing and a better story and better character selection?
Shut up, Asher. Let me finish. Sam, whatever the fuck your
Samuel
name is.
Asher Callahan.
Samuel L. Jackson.
My middle name's actually Macy, though.
Yeah, but it does in fact it has a really, really good story, and the writing is as solid as Dead Man's Witches was.
So I don't think I've yet to ask you this, but what is the crux of the story in Dragonfall? Like, what's up?
Okay, the story starts similar to Dead Man's Switch in that you're basically down on your luck as a Shadowrunner.
As you always are.
Except instead, this time your friend is still alive, and in fact, she contacts you to join her group of Shadowrunners that she leads.
Okay, good start. Things are going well.
So you have a simple job to do. You were given the task of infiltrating this manor, finding the secret in its vault, and then getting out.
Okay. What
you don't know is that the vault, when you get in, is a highly classified facility that you're breaking into.
Small details.
Of course.
So,
Nobody
in the midst of trying to fight for your life and get out, your team leader dies.
So she was live when you start, but she doesn't make it more than like 20 minutes in anyway.
Yes.
It's kind of like Kim from Gears of War. Just.
Yep.
And
I forgot about Kim, man.
And
nobody fucking remembers Kim.
I totally remember Kim.
Oh,
and the squad leader appointed you to be the leader of her Shadowrun team after her death.
Okay. So you start out with people, basically.
So you basically go from there and trying to figure out what the fuck was going on, and try to figure out who needs to die in payback for killing her.
So, I guess the big thing for me is when I played Shadowrun Returns Dead Man's Switch, the original module that came with the game, like,
Yes.
the big thing for me was just, like, the writing and the characters. So you already said the writing was good, but if the characters are the things on the level of, like, Dresden and Coyote, like, are there people who are just really memorable, cool people?
Yes. And the reason, and I would say it's better, and the reason for that is that instead of having to hire a bunch of nameless, faceless Shadowrunners for missions, because you remember in Dead Man's Witch how it was basically just you and 3 random NPCs from a list of them?
Yeah, basically.
You can do that if you want to, but the crux of Shadowrun Returns is since you're leading this team of Shadowrunners, you can bring them with you instead of a random NPC. And then, since they're named people in your squad, hiring them costs you nothing because they're already part of your team.
So you can put that money towards other things like guns and magic and stuff.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a problem with the original module is that I had a couple of situations where I had to run with like 2 people because I just blew all my money. It's like, oh, these people cost like 2,000 Nuyen.
Yeah.
Well, fuck.
And one of the biggest quest lines in Dragonfall is that in order to hire this information broker to get information that you need to finish the game, you need to save up 50,000 Nuyen.
Oh, wow.
So,
is there any kind of like
a good part of the game is
like decking or something like that to get around that, or is it just straight up you have to get money?
Well, here's the way you do it. It's basically like that's basically like Act 2 of the game structure.
Oh, okay.
So you get jobs, and they'll say like a job. The client's willing to pay you 36,000 Nuyen for the job. You will take a cut of that and throw it into a fund to get the information broker her money. Then your squad mates at least take a cut of that for their expenses paid in the middle for the job.
Okay.
And then your information, and then your fixer, which in Shadowrun, the fixer is someone who is basically your agent. He gives you contracts to do. He'll take his cut, and then the rest is money that you have left over to spend as you see fit.
Okay.
It's like you'll get a job with 36,000 Nuyen, and then you'll have like 30,000 of all these expenses paid, and they'll leave $6,000 for you to spend as you see fit.
So, is it different from the original module in that the original it was kind of like you had a main quest and then you had occasional side quests you could do? So is this more like at any given moment you have a bunch of different things you can do?
It's more freeform in that like after the Act 1, then it sets you off. It's like, okay, you have all these jobs to do, see which ones you like, play around a bit, and then once you get all the money, then we can go into Act 3. Or if you want, you can still keep doing more jobs.
Okay.
It's a bit more freeform in the way it's structured.
Seems like it. Seems cool. I should totally get that. I like Shadowrun.
And depending on who you bring, different crew members have different reactions to the things you do in the middle of a job.
Alright. So, overall, if you liked the original Shadowrun Returns, would you even recommend it to someone who did like Shadowrun Returns, or is it still very much the same game?
It's still very much the same game. If you didn't like the first module, you're probably not going to like Dragonfall.
Kind of figured, but, you know...
But I will say, like, if like, the thing that pissed you off most about the first module was the finale, if that was the reason that you didn't like it. Because I know a lot of people really didn't like that finale, myself included.
Bugs. Fucking bugs.
They did, like, fix that in Dragonfall. That is the finale is actually pretty well-paced and well-designed.
Approximately how many bugs are in the game?
There are no insects. Actually, there are insects, but they don't have the annoying problem where their souls come out when they die.
It's always a problem when souls come
You
out.
can just keep shooting them and they'll eventually fall over.
Go to the back of the box. You can keep shooting them until they fall over.
I know one question I have, like, as somebody who has not played this, like, are there difficulty modes on this? Like,
there are.
There are?
Like,
I don't remember.
When you enter a new module, it will ask you what difficulty you want to play it on. I played both of them on the normal difficulty.
Which is generally pretty fine. Like, it's challenging, but in the right way. Like, and especially since it's turn-based, you have all the time in the world to sort of think out your plan.
It's much more about, like, positioning and dropping your enemies.
I just asked because I figure, like, for somebody, maybe there's somebody out there that, like, you know, maybe this kind of goes above their head, or maybe it's harder, the normal difficulty is harder, because, you know, even I can admit, from, like, everything I've heard about this game, the story and the characters are just fucking brilliant.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, there is an easy mode.
If you're in it just for the story, or if you're not really like into or not really good at strategic RPGs, just put it on easy. Just enjoy the writing, and you'll have a fantastic time. At least.
And you can also, and so many games get this wrong. You can change the difficulty while you're still in the middle of a module.
It's like
so many fucking games, especially from the PS2 era, got this problem wrong, where you choose difficulty at the beginning and then you get locked into it.
Forever.
I don't know who thought that was a good idea.
I greenlit all of those games. Every single one.
Because that has never been a good idea.
Hey, Garrett! Garrett,
Yes.
how do you
Yes.
weigh on this? Shadowrun? Yay, nay? Don't buy it?
It's a great game.
Okay. Make sure
Have
Garrett
you
gets-
played it, Garrett?
I have.
Oh,
I
yeah,
have.
I have not played it. Great game. Go buy it. It's my recommendation.
But yeah, if
10 out
you
of
like
10.
Dead Man Switch, Dragonfall is a strong recommendation.
yes.
Sweet.
I haven't
just
played
put money
that.
in the bank, so I will go buy that. Like,
And
tonight.
after Dragonfall, I played a bit of The Walking Dead Season 2, Episode 4.
So you didn't finish the episode?
I did finish it, yes.
Okay, cool.
It's only 2 hours, it's not that.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know why you wouldn't finish an episode at one sitting.
And again, this is kind of one of the games where it's really hard to talk about it, because I know none of you guys have played it yet.
Yes, I have played
And I
through
do
all of
want
season
to.
1, but not 2.
Yes.
So,
And-
how was season 2? Is it good?
Honestly, I'm not really too thrilled with it.
Great, won't buy it. Great recommendation.
It's not. Basically, it's not blowing your skirt up the way Wolf Among Us does. Basically.
No,
I feel like it when things
I
blow
am
up
liking
Brandon's
Wolf
skirt.
Among Us a lot more than Walking Dead Season 2.
That's kind of the general consensus I've been hearing, is that Wolf Among Us kind of here's their next magnum opus, whereas Walking Dead, like, it's okay, but
I have two major issues with this season of The Walking Dead. The first one is that even in Season 1, even though your choices didn't actually make a difference in the long run, it felt like you were doing something with making those choices.
yeah, there was a really good illusion of choice.
In Season 2, it's pretty transparent most of the time that you're not actually making choices that matter. Like, it doesn't feel like anything you do matters.
Okay, so like a really weird, deep question about that. Is it that it doesn't matter because you're playing as Clementine, in that you're a child and it doesn't matter what you say? Or is it literally just a gameplay fact that, you know, regardless of what the character, whoever it would be, it's just the game makes bad choices?
It's just the set that it's not even that Clementine's a character, just that the scenes are set up where it just doesn't seem like your choice would actually make a difference. Because even though Clementine's a child, she is clearly much more capable than any of the other survivors in her group, which is probably because she has protagonist powers.
It's almost like
powers.
it's almost like South Park syndrome of every adult is an idiot, where the children
Yes.
are actually the only ones that know any better.
And yeah, it's just like everyone. The thing is, there's actually like a child in your group who's as young as Clementine, except she was sheltered throughout the apocalypse, whereas Clementine, if you recall the first season, was not.
She's seen some shit.
Nope.
She's seen a lot of shit.
Yeah,
So this child comes across as the most hilariously stupid person I've ever seen.
I don't understand how things
Jeez.
work. Alright.
I still remember. I think Robert Kirkman. Somebody. It was some interview. I think it was mentioned on a podcast where they were basically asking him like, if he had to, how would he end it? And I think he still has not ever even fathomed how he would end The Walking Dead as like a series, comic book, or
I
otherwise.
guarantee his ending would probably be everyone died.
Because he did kind of go on record saying like if he were to end it, it would not be as simple as we found the cure. It would,
Yeah, I remember hearing about that.
yeah.
He's like, I just don't want that turned in.
Given the tone of The Walking Dead, if it did end, it would not end on a high note.
Nope.
Yep.
No.
The ending would make you depressed as fuck.
I mean, the two
Yeah.
ending possibilities, if not the cure, is basically either one, everyone dies, 2, well, I guess there's 3. 2,
Or
you kill
2
all the zombies in the world, which is not likely.
Or 3, life goes on.
Yeah, well, 3 is like, we set up some kind of plantation or whatever where we can grow our own food, and we have enough area that we can work around, and there's no zombies in the area. Like, we just have to set it up perfectly, and we're fine. We can just live.
I almost want to think the ending would be that one British show that they started, I think, last year.
Oh, I need to watch that. Is it the one that they rehabilitate zombies?
Yeah!
That looks so cool!
Oh my god, that's so fucked up! Like,
oh, it's so weird.
What?
It's like a show about the post-zombie apocalypse where they're trying to rehabilitate zombies into normal human beings again.
yeah, like...
So it's like, you're like part zombie, and it's like, well, you're kind of still human, so we'll try to teach you not to eat people.
Yeah, like, it's really fucking weird because the show centers around this guy who, he was a zombie, and now he's been rehabilitated, and, like, they show him, like, sitting in, like, a clinic and everything, and they're talking to him.
Is he still, like, rotting flesh?
No, he's just, like, pale. He looks albino, basically.
Yeah, it's called
and,
The Flesh, is the name of the show, if people wondering.
Yeah, and it's like, they keep talking to him, and he's like, I am a and reanimated sufferer, and it's like, all this... Like the technical terms that come up to it, to where it was like zombie was like a medical condition, but it's just this premise of he's got to live with this fact that he fucking killed people,
yeah,
which he wasn't in control of, but it's like he fucking ate people, and now he's being sent back out into the world to try to live like a normal person, and it's just. It sounds like a really good premise, though. It's just...
Like, how has nobody done that yet? When I first saw that, I was like, dude, I need to see this.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody really talks about after the zombie apocalypse, what happens.
Yep.
So,
It's just during it,
before next week, I should definitely check that out.
Well, the thing was, before we get too off topic, the thing about zombie apocalypse is that always bothered me is that a lot of the time, people are rarely ever like producing shit. They're just kind of taking shit from the previous world, like canned goods and shit. And that is just not a model that can last, because you will eventually run out of canned goods if no one's producing canned goods.
That's true.
Mm.
It's the Fallout problem.
The Fallout problem where apparently 200-year-old Salisbury steak is still good.
Oh, it's so good. All that health. Bottled water never goes bad as long as it's bottled.
But yeah, my other major complaint with The Walking Dead Season 2 thus far is that the plot seems to be going absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, I love The Walking Dead, but so far it's just we're trying to live.
So are you on the same part, Brody? Damn it, Garrett.
No, I actually have not seen Season 4. I know of what happened to the. I know of what happened to the governor because I watched that.
We're talking about 2 different Walking Deads here.
I was talking about the game, the Telltale game.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm talking about the movie. I haven't even played the game.
Chris, start talking about the comics. Make this more confusing.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'll talk
I
about
haven't
the
read
book.
any.
show.
I'm just
But
saying.
yeah,
I'll start talking about the book.
The Walking Dead
I was
Season 2's story so far is going absolutely nowhere.
That's a real shame.
Like,
because-
in the first episode, they set up this one guy as, like, the big bad. Like, he is the person you gotta be watching out for. But they take care of him in the third episode. So we've got these last 2 episodes, like, what is the point? What are we doing? Who were we fighting?
Yeah, say what you want about Season 1, but it was pretty good as far as, like, I didn't really have much of an overarching plot. But
There was a clear goal to get to Savannah. That was, like, the goal.
And, I totally forgot about that, actually. But, Season 1 was pretty good. I've heard very mixed things about 2, though. Like, I recently saw an article go about Episode 4, and they were just like, it's not great.
Like, it's not bad. The voice acting performances and the animation is still really solid. It's just, like, in the end, I'm sitting there like, what are we doing? Like, what is the goal here?
I wonder if anything's ever going to come up to the standard of, like, Episodes 1 and 2 of Season 1 of the Walking Dead game.
It's that thing of, like, you have to wonder if it's like this second album syndrome that
sophomore slump sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Transistor to their Bastion.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they did a really good job and everything kind of lined up, and you do kind of wonder, it is a hard act to follow. It's not like Season 1 was lightning in a bottle, not by any means, but it's just that, how do you follow that, you know?
See, one of the things about Season 1 that I found out that was pretty interesting after the fact is that they had planned the very last scene in the game That was the first thing they came up with.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Which-
built the entire story around that one ending scene.
Yeah. And by the way, that last scene was a fucking punch to the gut. I don't give a shit who you
season
are.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh
gnarly.
god.
If you haven't played season 1, I recommend that you do so.
Yeah.
God.
I'll go down.
It's
Last
definitely
episode
like,
is
it's just fuck, man. I think it's
Yeah,
also
that
funny,
last
YouTube video.
you guys totally don't have this.
I have seen that scene 4 separate times. I have cried every single time.
yes.
So I guess
You-
there's also
And not this sissy bitch man tears shit, like actual genuine tears.
Yeah, if you are not human, or you just don't understand the context if you don't
You are a
cry
robot.
seeing that. That is
Yeah.
so I think it's
'cause-
also sorry, go on. I keep saying Chris.
no.
damn
I
it.
was just saying, season that last episode of season 1. Holy shit, was that a lot of good moments? Like minus the whole thing in the motel room with that fucking asshole, but
that was weird.
like
I actually
when-
like that scene.
I'm indifferent to it.
I'm kind of yeah, but I really love what happens before that when Lee just goes on a fucking tear and God, that was great.
Yeah.
Like that was the
Yeah.
catharsis moment. That was
Yeah. So the thing I was going to point out is, you guys don't really have this sort of, I don't know, viewpoint, I guess. But I also found it really interesting that The Walking Dead takes place in Georgia, which is where I live. So it's really
Yes.
funny playing the first episode and them talking about Savannah, which I've been to. I know what it looks like. And then going to Macon, the guy, and Lee is like, I'm a Macon boy. And I was like, oh my god, I know people who are Macon boys. Like, I know exactly what that town is like. And I know those people. And they keep talking about all these towns that I know. And I'm like, holy shit, this is like really weird. Talking about
I've
like
actually been to
Interstate
Savannah
85
too,
and
so
shit.
I knew a couple of landmarks from there. So I actually have been to Georgia. I hate it, but I've been there.
It's just so weird, like, from the TV show and the game, like, when they go to Atlanta, like, they're going down I-85, like,
Yeah.
I've been down that highway, man, I know how crowded that is, and, like, I know the Coca-Cola building there, and all that shit.
the only
So
the only
weird.
things I know of that have like any kind of media that have like taken place in Ohio, like one was Ohio was referenced in Zombieland when
Right.
that was the main character's name, Ohio.
Oh
wasn't it?
yeah, Ohio, yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of them. I
Was-
don't remember the other ones.
Now they
Nebraska?
don't yeah. Well, they don't say his real name. It was just like they kind of like Woody Harrelson was Tallahassee and
Tallahassee.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think they named like the main character Ohio, and I forget what the two girls' names were, but other than that, like there was this really dumb kids comedy about these parents that are divorcing, and like the kids round up all the parents and put them into the fucking basement until they get back together. Like it
I've
was
seen that.
yeah,
YouTube.
and supposedly that movie was supposed to take place in Defiance, Ohio. I can tell you for a fact that was never filmed here. And like they show this bullshit landmark sign of "Welcome to Defiance." I can tell you for a fact that does not exist. That movie did not take place in Ohio. Fuck them. That
Kind of reminds me whenever Georgia gets involved in stuff, it always has, like, a Made in Georgia sticker. Like, Zombieland. That totally was filmed partly in Georgia. The amusement park
see?
was, because a friend of mine was one of the extras.
Oh nice.
Oh,
awesome.
That's fucking cool.
Or sister's friend of mine, also a friend of mine.
yeah, I think it's just that like people filming shit for Hollywood, they know to stay the fuck out of Ohio because there's nothing here.
Yeah. Georgia's been getting a lot more popular
Yeah.
lately. I guess because Walking Dead showed there's actually some good places to film. We have a good mix. I was just going to say, is Defiance
Yeah,
take
there's
place
a
in Defiance, Ohio? Or does it take place like San Francisco?
Is what?
Defiance, the video game and the TV show.
No,
I don't watch it or
So
play
that's it.
It takes
Okay,
place
so
in
that's
space, doesn't it?
No, it's like
No,
San
no, no,
Francisco,
no, no, no.
I think.
Okay, no. I can explain this. Okay, so the game takes place in San Francisco, but the television show takes place in St. Louis because, and the thing is, this is why the name of the game is actually kind of stupid because Defiance is considered a town that the TV show revolves around, which is located in St. Louis, because they show like this dilapidated version of like the St. Louis Arch. It's all fucked up, but
I know it's
the
future.
town, yeah. So the town Defiance, they call it that because of the defiant few who disobeyed orders to help people. All this bullshit, whatever. And it's like, yeah. So I'm like, so they have a town named Defiance, and it's not in Ohio. Yeah, fuck you. And yeah, Defiance is not a great show. I don't
I heard
recommend
it
it.
was not a great game either. for that.
Yeah, I heard both.
It's okay.
It's okay. It's.
I mean, I played it not with Chris, but I've played it alone a few times over. It's like it's fine.
It's okay.
Comparable.
It's
kind of sad that
It's a video game.
I will say
play
that
it.
it's. I will say it's a little sad that it's a little sad that Destiny reminds me of it, but.
Oh.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Don't think of that as
You
something
know
I
it's
imagine.
true.
That's pretty sad.
You
We gotta
know
talk
it's
about
true.
Destiny.
Oh man.
But yeah, aside from The Walking Dead,
Oh yeah,
I also
zombies.
I just recently got Kingdom Hearts 1.5 for the
Oh, is it?
PS3.
So how does Kingdom Hearts
Watch it.
hold up from like a gameplay perspective? Because I remember the controls in that
It
being,
actually
like,
holds
weird.
up really well.
Okay.
Yeah, one thing I will say about Kingdom Hearts, like no matter as I am a person that has shit on that story because of how ridiculous it is. Although I had
To this day,
recently
I
got
don't
back in.
understand
I had
First
recently
one
gotten back
actually had
into
a
it.
decent plot.
Yeah. I will say that game still holds up graphically well, and that just kind of shows how good that game looked on a PS2.
Graphically and in terms of gameplay, I would add too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both in style and on a technical level.
Yeah.
Granted, you do kind of see some of the tricks that they pull to make stuff look good, and when stuff does not
Yeah.
look that
You
good.
definitely see them use cinematography pretty well to disguise some things.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess it's just funny because I keep thinking like I haven't played Kingdom Hearts since like the time I finished it, so I always try to think back about that menu combat system, like how you use a menu. I was like, was that good or am I just crazy?
They actually changed it a bit in the PS3 version of Final Mix.
Okay.
What they did is that they, instead of, how in the original there used to be that bottom thing on the menu where you put all the contextual commands.
Yeah. Yes.
They mapped
yes.
them all to triangle. In
Oh, like Kingdom Hearts 2
Final
style.
Mix. Yeah.
Which was great. Like
Yes.
that was a great change.
The other thing
God.
that added to the new version of the game is that right analog stick now controls the camera.
What? They fucking destroyed it.
I was gonna say, isn't that
Kingdom
how
Hearts
it
ruined.
was before?
No, it was shoulder button controls.
Oh, it was
Oh,
shoulder
last
button
time.
controls as R1, L1. I remember that. Oh my
shit.
god, I forgot about that. And they were like
Yeah.
inverted too, so like R1 moved to the left or something like that. It was weird.
Yeah. Now it's just the right analog stick controls that, which...
Oh.
Oh, actually, what I mean to say is that you can set it to that. Like, you can take either control, but only one or the other.
I think I'll just do it the analog
I
stick.
I just chose the right stick because
Yep.
I would rather left stick control movement, right stick control camera. That is the thing that we have decided on.
Like
as
every
a community.
fucking video game in the past 10 years,
I mean,
basically.
in their defense, like the way that you use the face buttons a lot for like menu control, I kind of see what they were going for, but you don't really need to move the camera that much in combat, and if you do, you can afford to take off your thumb for like a millisecond to
Well,
move the camera
there's
a little
also
bit.
the thing, like, aside from like using items, you really don't need to use the menu at all. Like, aside from using items and using summons,
Is magic with the menu system? I
there's
forget.
a magic shortcut. Like,
Yeah,
Oh!
like-
Okay, so that's how much
you
I
can
remember.
assign 3 spells to the shortcut menu: 1 triangle, 1 square, and 1 X.
Was that
Yep.
in their original?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
well shit. Alright.
And in
Great.
Kingdom Hearts 2, they added circle to the shortcut menu to let you set 4 spells in there.
But wait, how do you jump then into?
Well, and you don't jump when you have the you don't jump when you have the shortcuts in 2. When you're using
It's almost kind of like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. Like you hold down a shoulder button, then here's your powers, and then
Yeah.
fucking use one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can.
Alright,
you
now
can
it's all
map-
coming back to me all of a sudden. Okay.
Yep.
I remember. Alright. Cool. Still good?
Yeah,
Still
it's still good, and it's actually kind of funny when you see the new scenes they added in the Final Mist content, because this was an international version technically. They didn't add any voiceover to the new scenes. Apparently, they didn't want to pay guys to record new lines.
Yeah, it sounds like work.
Well, especially because Haley Joel Osment obviously now sounds a good deal different.
Well, I mean, Kingdom Hearts Final Mix was released before that. Like,
yeah,
the Final Mix was released in Japan really like shortly afterwards.
but that costs some money to get more voice acting. We don't want we don't want to spend money.
Like
We
did
just wanna
they
make money.
they didn't even get the Japanese voice actors, did they? It's
Yeah,
just,
no, there's literally no voice in the added
Okay.
scene.
Is there a Japanese
Except-
language option in this one?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay. I don't think I would use it anyway, but I'm just kind of curious.
No.
I do like my English.
Yeah, especially when it comes to Disney. I don't want to hear a Disney character saying
No.
English personally.
I still remember.
I know that sounds xenophobic, but it's just like I don't want I don't want to get my memory them confused like that.
Sure, you don't want to hear Winnie the Pooh going "Konnichiwa, Sora." Just.
Yeah, that would be a bit dissonant for me personally.
I still remember seeing that clip way back when, like extended play or X play, whatever it was at the time, like when it used to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like they showed that on there of like Winnie the Pooh speaking Japanese, which, yeah, like you said, I don't want to be xenophobic, but it's like that is something I've never seen before, and it just seems so bizarre.
So,
Yeah,
So
it-
random quick tangent. Did you know that Morgan Webb has a Twitter, and that Morgan
Yes,
Webb is still
I follow
alive? Like, I saw that and I was like, Morgan Webb still does things. She didn't just fall into obscurity.
I missed that show. Like I miss when A it was on and when B it used to be good.
Yeah, I miss X-Play.
Yeah, it crashed pretty hard. X-Play.
Of all the stuff that they did, one of the things that I liked that they did was when they dedicated a whole, well, maybe not the whole episode, but they dedicated parts of the episode to just apologizing for jokes that did not work. they did these bits that were just fucking awful and just crashed super hard. Like they tried to do a bit with a dancing game where they had this skinny ass guy trying to be Lou Ferrigno. I was like, who are you fucking kidding with this? Like,
Oh,
really?
God.
Like, yeah, and like Adam Sessler's just on there saying like, yeah, really, what were we thinking? We apologize.
I
Like,
remember two specifically. One of them was Crazy Japanese Panda, which was weird. I don't remember what game it was for. And another was like when they went back in time and they had Adam Sessler with a bunch of hair. And it was like, what's with your hair? He's like, tradition,
God,
man.
yeah, back when it was GameSpot TV.
Oh,
Like,
God.
remember that shit.
Like, I remember seeing that, and at the time, I must have been like 13. I was still cringing. I was like, Jesus Christ. Like,
That was basically when I discovered that show back in the mid '90s when we started to get like cable TV in our house, and I discovered that show. I just ran across it, and yeah, there was Adam Sessler, his hair so fucking big, and it stood so high, and
yeah.
they were giving cheat codes for the original Siphon filter.
Oh. Also remember, what was the name of the robot fighting series back when it was Tech TV? Robot Wars, maybe?
Oh, like BattleBots or Robot
I don't know.
Wars?
BattleBots.
Yeah, I remember watching that
I-
Sunday morning before church. I watched the BattleBots, and I would actually know the names of the things, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
They had them on Comedy Central for a while, which I don't know why, but
I
These people know
remember
shit.
when Adam Sessler went to Rev 3 Games for a while. He
Yeah.
would regularly talk about how much he hated it once Comcast bought them up and made them G4.
mm,
And then they turned into fucking Esquire.
yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's
Adam Sessler used to complain all the time how much he hated it back then.
Yep.
yeah.
And I never saw it when I was watching that show.
And now
So
he's-
he hit it like a champ.
And now he's
Yep.
out of Rev 3, and apparently he just recently said he's doing something, but I don't think he said what.
I think he's he's doing a consulting firm. He's running a consulting firm.
Yeah,
for life.
like
I'll say
yeah,
it's
like
about something he can do well.
like he just wanted, like I think he just wanted to retire from like games journalism and stuff.
And I can't blame him because
No, after all the shit that guy's been through.
I recall the post that he wrote when he stopped being a games journalist, and I felt really bad for the guy after I read it because a lot of the thing that he would like once he started reading internet comments, it became so much worse for him.
Oh god, when the internet dawned and all that.
yeah, I can't blame anybody for doing
Yeah.
that. And I still remember like, again, I know this is not his fault, but when he did that review for God of War Ascension, and he was
Oh
talking
my
about-
god, people hammered him for that.
I don't remember
Yeah.
that one. Is that a Rev 3 thing? It should have been.
yeah, it was a
Times.
ref. It was a referee.
Red Free thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he did a review for God of War Ascension, and he was talking about how he could not get past this one Trials of Archimedes or whatever it is.
Oh, like
And-
God
and
of
I
War 1
would-
style? Just the trials
Yeah,
at the end.
and well, no, this was something in the main story.
Oh,
uh,
it sucks.
Yeah, yeah, and this was something in the main story. It was near the end of the game, and he could not get past it. He actually had to have somebody do that for him, and he was kind of wondering if maybe he was getting too old or something. But the thing was, he was not the only critic that had that problem. A lot of people were running into it, and even people in general. And it got to the point where Sony Studios Santa Monica or whoever was responsible, they put out a patch to lower the difficulty of that on the
sounds
normal
really
setting.
familiar.
So if you wanted to play the Trials of Archimedes as they were, you play it on the harder difficulty.
Wow.
And
Sounds like a
and I did play that section, and granted, I played that section after it was patched, but I still thought it was bullshit. So
Great.
so yeah.
Games journalism is hard.
Yeah.
Guys.
Oh,
And
man.
I also remember the grief he got for complaining about the achievement that unlocked.
Oh yeah, the
Bros Before Hose,
again,
which
I
was a legitimate complaint, I thought,
Yes, it
when I read
was.
that.
because they had to patch that too.
Wait, was that a God of War thing too?
Yeah,
Yes,
there was
the
a
same
God of
scene
War did,
where
yeah.
you beat this female boss, and then there would be a graphic scene of you slaughtering her mercilessly, and then after that you get the achievement Bros Before Hose.
Oh,
Yeah, it was one of the-
That's a little tasteless, guys.
Yeah, it was one of the Furies, and it's like, granted, the Furies are incredible bitches in this game, but it's just this thing of, it just kind of felt like pouring salt.
It
in the
was a
wound.
really poor taste, and that's coming from me.
And
so
that's also
like,
God of
yeah.
War. You're saying God of War is in poor taste. Like,
Well, here, like, again, this is also from God of War Ascension, that last game that they made.
hopefully
and-
the last one.
It's like I get the context
Not
of it,
the last.
especially when it comes to something like Greek mythology and the like. But you have to understand also what the climate of video games are right now, where we are seen as being completely sexist, and this does not help.
I mean, I know God of War is pretty dude bro-ish, but like, don't acknowledge it. Like,
No.
Don't just
Yeah.
straight
No.
up say this is what this is.
Bros
Oh,
Before
wow.
Hose, the achievement unlocked.
Yeah, that
Oh.
was
That seems
that
like
was
something that like Saints Row 4 would put in as a joke against things like that.
pretty much.
You
Yeah,
don't-
that does sound like a Saints Row 4 parody of games.
Yeah.
But it's not. It's the real thing in a God of War
I
game.
wonder
what
what
they
they patched it to. Yeah.
No, yeah, I have to look this up now because
They patched it to something that wasn't as bad.
Yeah, they changed.
It was a
they
simple
patched the
swap.
name of the
Yeah, they
trophy.
swapped the name. The name, yeah, they changed the name to something. That was it. That was all they did.
Let's see. Shit, I don't see it.
hold on, I'm looking this up, but
But yeah, while we're doing that, I'm going to finish my turns, and this still
I think it was
technically
called.
my turn.
I think they called it Bros Before Foes.
Yeah, I don't see it, but you're probably right.
That's still fucking stupid, but okay.
Yep, they did. Will now become bros before foes.
Yep,
Yep.
yep.
That's not great,
That's still
guys. You probably
slightly
should.
better. I'll take it as something that's not totally shit.
I mean,
No,
that's
it's
actually
still
kind
shit.
of funny in a really bad way, but you should have just changed it completely to just avoid
I,
that.
yeah. I think it's actually worse because
Just changed
the
it to
punish-
"You beat the Fury. Congratulations, get an achievement."
Basically.
Anyway, we're gonna be here all fucking night if Brand doesn't finish.
I have one last
Take
thing.
that
to
out of
mention.
context, internet people. Bam.
I started watching the X-Files.
Good show.
That's,
Really?
That's a hell
Yes,
of a show,
I've
man.
gotten 8 episodes into the first season.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
God.
I watched
Yes.
like the first 3 of the first season. I was like, man, UFOs are everywhere. Fucking aliens, man.
It is kind of interesting how Skulder and Mully are both completely on opposite sides.
You mean Mulder and Scully?
Yeah, I was gonna say you
I was gonna
completely
say that
fucked
sounds
that up.
wrong. Skulder and
Skulder
Mully.
and Mully. Oh my
That's my new,
god, yeah.
that's my new
thank you.
series, XCOM game.
Skulder and Mully.
But yeah, it seems like they're both on completely different wavelengths of completely divorced from reality.
What's
Whereas Mulder seems to be convinced that every fucking thing is an alien and coming to invade us.
Right, that was like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
funny
Scully
thing
is
about it, right?
completely convinced every fucking thing isn't at least somewhat weird.
So there's no middle ground
Yeah.
of like this could be either it's all aliens or none of it's aliens.
Yes, there is no. Maybe this is just some odd phenomenon going on.
They totally abducted my sister, Scully.
Aliens.
Truth is
Aliens.
out there.
I don't want to just be remembered for X-Files, so I'm gonna
Is that,
I'm gonna play a part in the PS2 game Area 51.
and that, my friend, is what the fox says.
What?
Yeah.
His name is Fox Mulder.
Oh. Podcast over. we lost our fucking
I get it. I got that immediately because I fucking love X-Files.
And now you just killed it for him, and now he hates it. He's gonna burn all his copies.
I remember there was actually a band that named themselves after like one of the episodes of that show. I think it was Eve 6.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I just watched that episode. That was the last one I watched, actually.
Yeah. They told Eve 6.
Those kinds of episodes where it's just some kind of freaky shit going on, but it's somewhat explainable. Those are the good ones. The bad ones are the ones where we try to go into Mulder's backstory or this alien conspiracy. It's like, who gives a flying fuck about any of this?
There's this old guy who's always smoking, like kind of.
I just remember watching the first
the cigarette smoking man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember the first episode of episode 1 is like UFOs, and then I watched one of the movies, which was like Martians in the Arctic, something like that.
I fucking love the movie. I don't like the second one.
And then Mulder and Scully kiss, which nobody wanted to see.
Oh, get that out of there! It's gross.
Oh god, it was so bad.
Yeah.
He saves her from aliens. I do remember that. But the first movie was good. The second movie I saw and I was like, this sucked.
Yeah, I've heard the second movie's pretty shit. Like
the second movie's pretty shit. The first one I actually liked.
Yeah,
I saw that as a kid though, but
like I said, I just watched the Eve episode, and then I remember Scully saying, "Come on, it's got to be there's a totally rational explanation for this." And then Mulder goes, "There are two completely different kids that look the exact same, and both of their fathers are dead. Come on."
Like, really?
There is not a rational explanation for this.
Remember there was one where like this dude was like controlling electricity, like he was just striking people down with lightning. It was really weird.
Oh, Spider-Man 2. Got it.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2. I remember one of my favorite episodes was they're finding corpses out in the desert, and so they go to investigate, and then they fall into like this underground plant that's actually eating people.
Jesus Christ, what is happening?
It like you get trapped, but it gives you a hallucinogen to think that you escaped.
This is the X-Files?
Yeah, this is the X-Files.
I should watch
and
more
so
X-Files.
It's fucking fantastic. So they end up they're trapped in the plant, and they get out, and it's like found, and they burn the plant, and he's getting a promotion from his boss, and the boss is saying all these nice things about him. Mulder's like, that's not right. So he pulls out his gun and shoots his boss in the head, and he's bleeding green. And so they're like, oh my god, we're still in the plant. And so they wake up in the plant, and they escape again, and they burn it again. And
I love
they
how
go in the
Mulder
ambulance,
goes,
and
my
it's like,
boss trusts me. This can't possibly be right.
yeah.
There
and
was...
but it's great because it's like, are they still in the plant? Are we in the plant? You know, it's
there
great.
was the one episode I remember the most from X-Files was where these ladies were having demon babies, and then they would have this nightmare of like Satan fucking ripping it from them, and like the whole episode, basically the plot of it was that the devil is going around just marrying women, trying to have a normal life, and every time he impregnates a woman, it's always a demon. So like he fucking goes into devil mode while they're sleeping and just rips the demon baby out of them.
But Mulder, there is no way the devils do not exist. There has to be a rational explanation for why all these babies happen to be deformed.
Also, the devil was played by Richard Kind, who is like a comedic actor. Like the whole premise was that like he wanted a normal family, but every time he fucking impregnates a woman, it's always a demon. And then at one point near the end, when he tries to fucking rip the baby out of his latest wife, she actually fucking grabs him and is like, "What do you think you're doing?" And she fucking leaves him, and it's like she totally gives birth to a demon baby, and she all raises it and everything. It's so fucked up.
Wow.
To be fair, if someone's trying to rip your baby out of you, you might want to leave him.
Well, yeah, but it's like the whole thing was like he was going around like marrying all these other women, like starting over every time. And
X-Files is
like,
weird, guys.
Yeah, it was a weird show.
I could definitely see why so many people like that show, because I do.
Great.
I guess I
and I could see how it inspired basically every show that had
I can't help but think
a straight-faced female lead with a wacky male lead. Basically, Castle, The Mentalist, Bones, All of them are inspired by the X-Files.
I can't help but think of that video game two best friends played during their shitstorm, where, like, because it's a video game, they're allowed to say words like fucking shit, and, like, Scully runs into Mulder, and he's like, you know, people coming up behind you and knocking you out, that's bullshit. Like, what the... Oh, I thought it was so great.
But
Oh,
Mulder, there can't possibly be someone knocking him out. There's a totally rational explanation behind it.
Oh, man.
God, I remember.
God.
I'm trying to think. I remember a couple episodes from that show. I'm trying to remember one specifically that I was going to mention, but now I can't remember it. So fuck it.
But yeah, like it is strange how both Mulder and Scully are complete different sides of the completely lunatic insane.
I remember now. I remember now. Okay. Well, there was that one episode where Scully's like, Mulder, I'm gonna take you to a hospital because you're going kind of crazy. They end up going to Transylvania, and he's like, Scully, there's vampires. There's vampires fucking everywhere. And he's like, he chases a kid at night with a stake, and it turns out the kid's fangs are like little plastic Halloween things. He's like, oh my god. He's like,
shit.
oh. He's like, I almost stabbed you. Kid.
So you're basically saying that Mulder became the Wicker Man temporarily.
Yeah. He's like, he's running around like that guy's a vampire. Look at his fangs. Like, they're fucking
Give me the bike.
He's like going insane. He's like hiding out in a shack.
Mulder insane. So you're basically talking about Mulder.
Yeah. Mulder's like he's like hiding out in a shack, and like vampires are trying to break it down. And he's like, oh my god, it's
I'm not
weird.
saying it's aliens. I'm just saying it's probably aliens.
I haven't seen that. I didn't see that episode in a long time, but yeah, there was a vampire one, and he chases a kid in the street. This kid's like, hey, they're fake, and he pulls them out of his face. He goes, oh, they are fake.
I am
it's like,
surprised that Mulder didn't go. Vampires couldn't possibly exist. It's aliens.
Because it's like, what else do you
He
do
believes,
for a
like,
sci-fi
everything.
show? What else do you do for a sci-fi show on Halloween? Like,
Yeah, he believed in everything. I'm gonna look that up right now. X-Files, vampires. Gotta look that up.
we're gonna be here all night, just X-Files.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
Yeah.
Actually, I take it back. I'm not sorry.
Since I'm trying to make a reference sheet, this is a fucking nightmare. Because I'm trying to
Found
pull
it.
this up as you're talking about it.
The episode is called.
Is it
the
Bad
episode is
Blood?
called Bad
Yep,
Blood. Yep.
Found it. Great. I think I
Wow.
got all of
Yeah.
them. I'm pretty sure I missed one.
Has,
The hardest part was actually trying to find a site that actually had them online.
Wait,
I thought Netflix
what?
had them all. Did they
I don't
take
have
them?
Netflix.
oh, he doesn't.
Oh. Fucking Garrett's learning something.
Oh, he didn't just chase the kid; he actually killed him.
Oh.
Spoilers.
Synopsis: After Mulder kills, no, it's the intro. After Mulder kills a teenage boy he believed to be a vampire, he and Scully recount the events that led to the killing. Crap.
So in X-Files, fucking, he actually just kills somebody, like, straight up.
He killed a kid, and then they pull out the teeth. Like, oh, oops.
Oh, I always thought X-Files is the kind of show, like, you don't do that.
There's a
It's like,
Oh,
you
and
don't kill
that's
anybody, you
right.
don't-
That's right. And
no
then
good person
there's
dies.
yeah, they're having like a case. It's like, okay, so what the hell happened? And then Scully has a version, and then Mulder has a version. And of course, Mulder's version is super short. He's like, and then there's the outcome. There's two different versions to the episode.
Although I do hear that on some later episodes they do flip around the dynamic by having Scully be the person who's, since she's a woman of faith, absolutely believes in something, where Mulder's the complete skeptic
I feel like one episode
because
I
he's
watched
basically an
that.
atheist because it's not God, it's aliens.
Fucking aliens,
Yeah.
how do they work? Okay.
I don't know.
We need to stop talking about this because I'm giving myself a headache. Oh, my head hurts.
So yeah, that's my turn. I'm finished finally.
Okay.
Now we're into the podcast.
Yeah. Alright, podcast over. How it took too long?
It's your fault. You guys talk about the things I talk about, which makes it go longer.
Yep. Alright.
Wait, is it seriously over?
No. We have 3 people.
Okay,
to go.
I was gonna say, I'm like, what?
Oh. Alright, Garrett, tell me about what things. Tell me about not X-File things.
Things that I did. Okay, let's
That are
see.
not X-File related or I'm
Did you
canceling
watch
this
the
podcast.
X-Files, Broody?
I will fucking kill
Or
you.
Garrett?
I
I
watched
will
so much
murder
X-Files.
both of you.
And then I played Area 51 simply because it had David Duchovny in it. He's Mulder.
You're dead to me.
Anyway, no. So things that I did. I got Guild Wars 2.
I have that. We should play that sometime.
Yeah, so do
should.
I.
Wait,
Guild
you
Wars
have
2 's
Guild Wars? Why the fuck are we not playing Guild Wars? I don't want to play that game without other people.
Because
Guild
I
Wars
have not fucking updated it, and I've been busy with class. But whatever.
Motherfucker, we gotta play some Guild Wars sometime.
Yeah, we totally do.
I also transferred everything from my full 60 gigabyte HDD to my empty 120 HDD
60
Xbox
gigabytes,
360.
Man. You're blowing my mind.
60 gigabytes, yeah, to 120. After I did that, I downloaded the Destiny beta, and oh my god, is that boring?
Yeah. I talked about that in the podcast.
So matter of fact, it's fucking boring.
I talked
Let's talk about it
in
again.
the podcast that we didn't
let's talk
show
about it
because
again.
Asher erased it.
Hey,
Asher
erased it, not Sam. That's the important fact.
Asher wasn't here to hear this. I had to go and clean the bathroom. That was one of my chores today. And I was playing Destiny, and it was so boring, I stopped playing and went and cleaned the bathroom and had more fun cleaning, like scrubbing the bathtub and shit than playing that
I'm curious if you
game.
got the same problems as Brandon. Is it boring for like the MMO elements? Is it just like grinding?
The
and
MMO
just
elements
areas
are
and-
shallow. The MMO elements are shallow and stupid, and obviously they are to provide a social element that is unneeded, unrequired. The single player element is extremely boring, lackluster, and repetitive. And the RPG elements, like the little put on stuff, is a nice touch, but ultimately falls flat.
Another
The whole
problem
game
is there
just
really
stupid.
isn't a single player element. Even when you're playing by yourself, you have to be in an instant zone with people online.
Yeah.
You can't pause.
Hey, Brandon,
Nope.
was you the one that also retweeted the thing about Destiny harassment? Or was that somebody else?
Uh,
Some guy was asking for a harassment button in Destiny, and everyone was like, why? He's like, because some guy keeps trying to give me fellatio in Destiny, it's really freaking me out. Like, I don't understand. He's like just going around crouching people, just following them wherever they go, even the instances they go in, he's trying to follow them. I was like, okay. Destiny got really weird really fast.
See, that's
Not
for
even out
PS4. They instead of a share button, there should have been a harassment button. That's
yet. Yep. Just, everyone is harassing me at all times. Please make it stop.
A GTFO button.
Just exit game, close console all at once.
yeah.
So,
Um.
it's kind of funny.
Oh, so I did that.
Um,
And then last thing I did was I bought. We went to a bookstore and I bought 2 movies and a set of books. I bought the Millennium Trilogy special limited edition box set, and it comes in like the multicolor hardcover.
for what?
The
Sorry,
Millennium
I
Trilogy
missed
for those. The Millennium Trilogy is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with Fire, and The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest.
I'm still on the first book, man. That shit takes
It's great.
time. It's
I
a
have,
slow
uh,
burn, but it's
Tell
really
me,
good.
how long ago was this? Because I was under the impression that books died out years ago.
Books are a relic of the old world before New Detroit was raised.
We have so I have all 3 of those in like the
I
special
love how he
edition
completely
book covers.
ignored that.
Yep, he just
Yeah.
he doesn't care for your shit.
I
Like a champion.
do.
Garrett
It's
knows
dumb. I
what's
read
up.
books. So he.
No, he's talking about how you just
I,
completely ignored Brandon, and I was like, yeah, because he
Yeah,
knows.
No, I know. I'm like, oh, fucking.
I don't
You know
have
what
time
books
for
are.
this.
So anyway,
no fucking clue.
I'm like, you know what a goddamn book
the
is.
sad
So
part is he
anyway,
probably doesn't.
so I have the special edition hardcovers of that. Those books the set typically retails brand new for $110.
That's a lot of dollars.
Yeah, that's a lot of moolah.
Yeah.
I found it at a
Probably
used
not-
bookstore. The whole set, $20.
Shit.
I jumped on that train. I
Didn't
wrote it.
leave.
And then I also found Darren Aronofsky's Pi, which is a fantastic film. Got that for $3. And then I got Emily, which is a foreign film about a woman who is trying to make people's lives better. And I got that for $2, the super special edition. So I'm very, very happy.
I'm sorry, but every
What-
time you mention Pi, I can't help but think of that fucking shitty movie Life of Pi. And
Yeah,
I
I keep
like
thinking
how
it's
stupid
that,
it
and I'm
is.
like, it's not related, right?
no,
No,
it's not. But I'm
here,
unfortunately reminded of it.
Not a fan of Life of Pi.
No,
Okay.
that tiger should have ate him.
Yep. That's probably the shortest rant you've ever had when I ask you about something. You should go on for like 20 minutes. It's like, nope, didn't like it. All right, done. Great. Anyway, do
Yeah,
tell me, Garrett.
If we could
Tell
go
me
back
about
to
books.
Destiny real quick, I'm just curious as to why you think it's so boring, Rudy. Because I had
We
a
totally
pretty
skipped over that, didn't we?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was gonna say though, like, I guess I'm glad I didn't download over the weekend because I saw it was open to everyone, and I was like, I don't want to bother setting up my
'Cause-
PS3 and download it for 12 hours. And apparently I was right.
My problem with it is that, like, every quest takes place in the exact same zone.
Yeah,
Like,
which you wonder if
every-
that's because
It
of the
feels
beta.
like each quest should be in its own zone, but it's all in the same area.
Every
Like-
single level.
Like
is
that's
the
one of
same
the
thing.
things.
Like,
Yeah, like that's one of the things I hear about it, which is kind of stupid. Is that like you have all of these different missions that take place in the same area, so you know a game like Borderlands or like any other MMO to where it's like I accept all of the quests and then I can do all of them while I'm here.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I go and turn them all in rather than. But this game kind of forces you to do one at a time. Do
You've
this,
been
go back
watching
to
the
the area.
Giant Bomb talk about this, haven't you?
Yes, I have, but I have downloaded it though, and I played the intro, but only long enough. Like I played the intro, got past that, and then got into the area where I started seeing people, and then some fucking 10-year-old kid invited me to a fire team, which was a mistake to accept that because he was level 8, and right off the bat, so I'm going into an area where like the character enemies are like level 7 and higher, and I'm only level 2, and I'm like, dude, no, get fucked. Just sorry. Just
I have to go. My people need me.
yep.
I should go.
I should go.
I should go.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so did we get to the part where Garrett said why he didn't like Destiny? Did I miss it?
oh
No.
god,
Oh, okay.
no! It was
I'll keep trying this until we actually get it without stopping him.
no. It did. God, it was just boring. It was like every single. It was like, okay, you're gonna do this thing. We need to get this thing for the thing, and I'm like, okay, shoot all these enemies. Oh, I shot them like
Yeah.
the past. You shoot the same enemies over and over again. There's no variation. They just get a little. They become bullet sponges later on. That's the difficulty apparently. It's like, yeah, you can tell the game's getting harder because they soak up more bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same enemies over and over. It's the
It's
same
like-
landscape.
I hope
Wait,
that
wait.
shit-
I've
I-
played Borderlands before. This sounds
Yeah.
familiar.
The
Pic-
thing
now-
is, like,
Picture this. Picture if Borderlands 2.
Okay.
Picture a like generic Walmart brand of Borderlands 2, a shitty brand of Borderlands 2.
Funland.
A shitty.
Welcome to Funland.
Picture-
Everything is fun.
Order
Uh-huh.
butts.
Picture a shitty generic brand of Halo,
Okay.
and then picture a shitty generic brand of any MMO, and then put that together, and you get this shitty styrofoam game that is called Destiny, made by Bungie and Activision.
So
It's
I
very-
should
it's
probably
a-
ask you
yeah.
too. Are you a fan of Halo?
I actually kind of like Halo. Yes,
Okay.
I love Halo.
yeah.
And
Oh,
I like
yeah.
Halo too. That's the thing, is that
So do I.
I was never an Xbox guy, but I loved Halo.
I would pre-order the game, but at the same time, I don't want to pay $60 for Wonder Bread. So
Oh, but it's.
I'm
Wonder Bread's
a
so
little
good.
nervous. Yeah, I
it's
don't
like-
want to pay $60 for styrofoam.
It's like, you know, again, I'm probably repeating something that, you know, Jeff Gertzman might have said in, like, his quick look, but, you know, Halo, I kind of dug it because it felt, while it is, like, dudes in space and sci-fi and all that good shit,
Yeah.
it felt like there was something a little bit believable about it. Like you could buy it, you know, and
Well, this
felt a
feels
little
like
bit
Star
grounded.
Wars. Destiny feels like a Star Wars.
No,
The
this
enemy-
feels worse than Star Wars because
The
fucking
bad guys are literally known as the Darkness. It's
And
like
you
the
are
dark-
the Guardian of Light, fighting the
Right.
darkness.
Wait, is this the Lara
fighting
Croft game?
the Darkness. And then it's like, oh no,
Then you go to
What's
all
this
these
enemy
worlds
called?
with your Keyblade, and then you fly the gummy ship, and you
Okay.
you fight the Heartless.
I mean, how are
That
the
is the
gummy
plot of
subsections?
Destiny.
Are they like the slow gummy subsections or the fast ones?
Well,
but no,
well,
like,
they're the gummy sections, but it's just like you use the warp drive. It's just a loading screen.
Oh, so they're not even
Yeah,
the slow ones.
it's
They're just the loading ones.
Yeah.
But yeah,
And
like
it's-
that. I mean,
it's insane.
I can't
because
help
it's
but
like-
feel like
They're the Darkness. It's like, what's this enemy called? It's like the Fallen. I'm like, oh, it's the Revenge of the Fallen.
Yeah,
I
like,
fight
it-
darkness with my Keyblade.
like it feels like something out of like a shit 80s sci-fi film because of like fucking space wizards. Like,
How do they
God,
work?
Oh,
was it-
yes.
There are literally
Yes.
characters in the game called wizards. Or
Yeah,
enemies,
that-
but-
like-
And they throw magic at you.
I'm just sitting here. I'm like,
What's
really?
happening?
Like, I like the fact that I can play as a robot, but
Yeah.
dude,
Points for the
come
robot.
on.
Mention,
Like,
I am literally playing as a class called Warlock.
yep.
Yeah.
Do you,
Yeah.
do you cast hexes?
No, you throw warp grenades.
So it's a shooter, but you're
It's
a
like
warlock.
how much?
And you're
like
a
how-
wizard. Boy, it's
You
a
fight. You
shooter.
throw warp grenades and you drain enemies of their life force, and that's your powers.
I guess that's like, this is, as someone who has not played Destiny, that feels like the biggest letdown, is it's kind of like, you know, all these different classes, like wizard and warlock, it's like, but you're shooting people. It's like, yes,
I
you're
think
always
every class
shooting
has like
people.
a unique grenade and a unique melee attack.
But like, what a missed opportunity to not have like different types of combat. And it's just like, this is a brand new IP. You're not constrained by anything, and you just made a shooter, not something where it's like, this guy has crazy, you know, combos, hand-to-hand combos. Like, no, he just shoots people. They all just shoot people.
Yeah. I hate that. I hate that.
That's the biggest bummer to me, is they didn't really
This-
move on from their Halo roots.
I
This
went, okay,
movie
cool.
or-
There's Soldier. Soldier is.
Did you just say this
I wanna
movie, Chris?
No. Well, that's the thing.
This
Like I was
movie-
getting at, you know, because I'd said like this game kind of reminds me of like shit 80s sci-fi that probably would have been like a cult classic later, but like it totally reminds me of this weird movie called Krull, which was something of a Star Wars ripoff film where this guy uses a fucking glaive. And there again, there's like space wizards and bullshit in there.
Oh my
That's what this
God.
reminds me of.
Krull.
Wait, are we talking
With a
about
K.
Yeah.
Dark Sector? I remember
Yes.
Glaive in that. It was pretty cool.
No.
No.
I like Dark
No, he's
Sector.
talking about Krull. And the guy had the. Yeah, I remember Krull.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Nobody remembers Dark
I
Sector.
thought
Just-
for a second I thought you Crawl. I was like Crawl.
No.
Huh.
No.
No, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about like Kraul or something like that. Crawl. I
No.
can't remember.
It's just Krull. Krull.
Oh, okay.
Krull.
Yeah, Crawl. That's right.
Yeah,
Krull.
and it was this fucking sci-fi fantasy movie with space wizards and bullshit in it, and that's what Destiny reminds me of. And I'm not saying that can be a bad thing because of that. I'm just saying like it just feels really dumb the way they're doing it, and like how many terms in this game start with the traveler, the darkness, the fallen, like really? Like, and granted, I'm excited for a movie coming out next weekend with a talking raccoon and dudes called Ronan the Accuser and whatnot, but
But motherfucker,
Something
he's a
about-
talking raccoon.
yeah, and a tree and all that stuff.
It's a fucking
It's Vin-
tree.
Yeah, and it's Vin Diesel. But,
To Vin Diesel tree. I mean, come on, doesn't that sell movies alone?
yeah, but, yeah,
Oh, movies are weird.
yeah, Destiny is, I don't know, there's something about it, like, granted, I plan on spending more time with that, because, you know, the gunplay feels a bit competent.
That's what I've heard
Like-
of people say. They're like, the gunplay's fine. I was like, yeah, but
It
Yeah,
works.
that's-
It's just like with the mission design, it's boring
Yeah.
Exactly.
because the missions aren't designed in a way to make that combat feel fun.
And granted, like, you know, we do realize this is a beta, and maybe, you know, it's
Yeah.
not going to be totally representative of what the real game is going to be like,
I mean,
but
look at how much they changed
But I
from the
mean,
alpha
when
to the
mission
beta.
is
They
like-
made his voice more robotic.
But it's basically the sci-fi equivalent of collect 5 bear asses.
Oh, bear ass.
yeah, it's that thing of, like, it feels like they're borrowing too much from something like World of Warcraft, and I don't know, like, Borderlands 2, like, I played that, and I still got entertainment out of it.
It's a
but-
great game.
Yeah, like, but, I don't know, just...
You know, I just had a weird thought. Is there any game other than MAG that has a large player base but no MMO elements?
Battlefield?
I guess.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, talking like hundreds of people sort of thing. Like, when I...
Resistance 2 has 64 people in one. in
Yeah,
one.
but like more than that. Like MAG's like 256, something like that. Like I'm trying to think of
Yes.
like, because I'm thinking about Destiny, and you know, whenever I think of MMO shooters, or whatever, it's always like, well, it has to have MMO elements. I'm like, why though? Why not just make it like a shooter with more people? But it always has to have these weird
Yeah.
like MMO grind quests. I'm like, why not just
Yeah.
have like shooter storyline with hundreds of people?
Well, I think it's because, like,
I guess I would just break
would you
down.
like would you agree that maybe people are more inclined to play a shooter online if it is cooperative as opposed to being competitive?
Yeah, I would personally.
Yeah,
I guess.
because, you know, competitive
Well, there is a
shooters-
competitive mode in Destiny, so
I've
well,
watched
yeah.
people play it. They shoot people.
But obviously, I mean, people are going to feel more inclined to play something where people help each other out and you play with your friends as opposed to you and your friends are getting murdered in 6 seconds by
If I
people
hate
who
my
are playing
friends.
something way too. Yeah, basically.
Then I take them into Battlefield 4 hardcore mode if I hate them. That's how you know.
Yeah, Peter Dinklage, I think, is the name of the little.
Yes. He's
Yeah.
The robot.
I want
dude.
to keep calling that thing a bit instead of what it's actually called, a ghost, which I don't know what their stupid fucking reasoning is for
Everybody I
calling
know
it that.
just calls it Guilty Spark.
Yeah, it basically is.
That's kind of what it is.
I keep thinking of it as a bit from like Tron, but
Yeah, I don't know.
The Traveler, you mean?
no,
Fucking God, these names.
the little Peter Dinklage robot
Oh.
head that
Why
floats
does
around.
nobody
Ghost.
just
The
call-
Ghost.
Why does nobody just call things what they are? Always gonna have stupid names.
I can't help but remember when they were showing that playable demo off at E3, I think last year, and the dudes are fucking tooling around, and they're like, oh, it's dark in here. Let me pull out my ghost and see what he finds. And that's just such a fucking scripted event. Like, come on, really?
I remember I was watching. I had not known anything of the story to Destiny when I first played the beta. I remember I was waking up as my character when I first made my character, and he goes, "I'm a ghost. Actually, I'm your ghost." I'm sitting like, "Wait, what the fuck? Am I dead or something?
How do
No.
you
What the
know?
fuck are you
It's-
talking about? You're my
It's
ghost."
funny because, and then the immediate following line is, "You've been dead for quite some time."
Yes, and that's what I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? I just came in. I just made myself.
You suck at the game so bad, you died.
To
before
me,
you
this is pretty-
started.
And to me, it's kind of funny, especially because I made my character one of the robot races, which is like, well, I'm the only robot race because
Yeah.
you have people, you have your fucking space elves, and then you have these robots, which they call exos. So it's funny to me playing a robot dude, and it's like, so I've been dead. What'd you do? Fucking rebuild me? Like,
I
did you-
couldn't find any differences between they didn't like. I looked for stats and I couldn't find anything that was like explicitly human. Is like just a cosmetic thing? You think the three
Probably.
races?
It probably is.
It is. But no, he technically kind of did rebuild you. He gave you a suit. He built you a suit. The base suit is the suit that he built you.
With that stupid
While
fucking
you were
helmet on. That
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was just sitting there like, seriously, like what the fuck's going on? And then they explain later, oh, your ghost is like basically your PDA.
Why
Yep.
not just
Like,
call it-
okay,
just not
why
call it
did you just
PDA?
say that the first fucking time and call it a space PDA?
Space
That's all I need to
well,
know.
you have
Space
to you have
Or
to admit.
just call it an AI.
Over
Oh, it
your
does.
smartphone.
It does. Yeah. It
Like, just
does
name
have
it
to
Jarvis
start.
or something, and I will get what's going on.
Oh my
Fine.
God,
Just name it Jarvis.
Because then
totally,
Brandon, I gotta ask, like, who the fuck uses a PDA nowadays? Like,
Fucking.
we have
Master Chief.
smartphones
I mean,
now.
I don't use them, but I know what the fuck they are.
dude. When I first saw the little ghost show up, and went, "Oh look, it's Guilty Spark."
Yep, everybody says that. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, it's Guilty Spark.
Like in the future of Destiny, you can buy ghosts from Verizon and have this fucking.
Oh, you have really good ghost coverage with terrible ghost
Yeah.
customer service.
Yeah.
I hate my ghost service.
I got a prepaid ghost, so my signal's not as good, but
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
I don't have a
much
contract.
like
Technology
no ghost
and call it.
contract.
It's like who'd ever invented technology and then call it a ghost?
Yeah.
No one. No fucking person
What's
would
that?
do
That's
that.
such like a sci-fi / video game thing of call it something random. When in the real world, nobody would do that because mass confusion would ensue.
Yeah, we
Yep.
would just call them space PDAs or space phones.
It's just like it's your phone
No.
or it's your AI companion.
Yeah. It'd be an AI companion.
yeah, because that was the first thing right off the bat.
It's
Because
kind
it's
of
like,
like Biotics
or
and
you
Mass
would give
Effect. Most people would just call it space magic.
Or you would just give it some random brand name that people can associate with it, like the iPhone. Just call it like your Kistek or something like
Like
that. It's like, okay,
Mentos.
yeah, it's like, it's my Kistek. It's my AI companion. Like, oh, I know what you mean. It's not my ghost.
Like,
oh, you mean your
Again,
dead?
this is
No,
something
it's
a
my
Shadowrun does.
companion.
That Shadowrun does pretty well. Like they're called cyberdecks. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine. I get that. I know what a cyberdeck is. I can understand with that term roughly what you're supposed to do with this device.
Without having to look
It's-
up a fucking dictionary.
but it's like,
Encyclopedia.
I mean, it's easy to make that comparisons to like Guilty Spark, but right off the bat, as soon as like he fucking goes inside you or does whatever he does, he just becomes Cortana to where
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I'm gonna.
Cortana that you take out to tell you the waypoints.
So it's Cortana
And-
from Halo 4.
Spawn up your
Yeah.
vehicle.
Yeah, it's Cortana from Halo 4 when you have to like take her out.
Like,
and
why
plug her-
didn't they? And that's
plug her
another
in.
thing that pissed me off is like, why isn't there a fucking map?
Because maps suck, apparently. That nobody likes them anymore.
Like, I was looking on a forum and I see people had that same complaint, and people were actually arguing in favor of not having maps. I was like,
Oh,
what
God.
the fuck is wrong with you people? If you don't
Oh,
want to use
God.
the map, don't use it. Let me have it at the very least. Because I'm confused as fuck as where I'm supposed to go.
It's like these people that it's like, no, it's more hardcore this way, and it's like, so you think that nobody should have the option of having something just because you don't want it there? Like,
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the thing. Is like the people who argue that there should be fast travel in like Oblivion or Skyrim. Like, okay, I understand you don't want to use it, then don't fucking use it.
yeah, go
Yeah,
play
don't
Dragon's
take it
No,
from
there
Dogma.
is literally nothing stopping your ass.
You want to fucking
Yeah.
walk everywhere, go play Dragon's Dogma, and then
it's
realize
the
how much it
worst part of
sucks.
that game. God damn.
If you want to, yeah, if you want to play a nice,
I
yeah,
will
if you want to play
never
a,
finish
ni-
that
a
game
nice,
because of that.
if you want
Nope.
to play a nice walking sim, go play Elder
Fucking-
Scrolls
Go
Online.
fucking play Proteus, man. If you want, that literally is a walking simulator.
Oh
And
god.
it's designed for that, though,
Yeah.
so it's okay.
Yeah, Dragon's Dogma is actually the best analogy because that's a game where you can't fast travel until like 30 hours in.
Oh.
Yeah.
Uh,
No,
At least- at
It's
least
like
something
Final
like
Fantasy 13. It gets good 20 hours in.
Or better yet, any
Elder
MMO
Scrolls
ever.
Online.
Like Final Fantasy 14, I'm level like 17. I still haven't gotten a mount. I'm just running everywhere. Sucks. Running is the worst part of every video game ever. Just gonna go up and say that. Anyway.
Yeah.
As someone who's not played Destiny, this is kind of hilarious to hear you guys just fucking unload on this game.
It's
Like, the
not-
thing is, it's not absolutely terrible. It's just like, it feels so completely underwhelming.
Yep.
And it's, when you look at the hype that's surrounding that game, and then you play it and find that it's so freaking underwhelming, it's disappointing.
I mean,
there's a lot of
it's,
hype.
it's gonna sell
Yeah.
gangbusters, and yet all the reviews are gonna be like 7 and 8. You'd be like, yeah, it's pretty good.
yeah.
But then it's just
Yeah,
gonna
like-
sell fucking destructive amounts of copies.
I mean, there's something to be said about the game may not have to be the latest like the most ultimate best thing ever. If there's enough people that get into it and enjoy playing it with their friends, then hey, more power to them.
yeah.
It's just that the thing that annoys the shit out of me, and I'm sure the rest of you, is that they're beating us over the head with how great this is supposed to be because Activision is pouring gobs of fucking money into this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It wasn't just that. Like, it's funny because a lot of the mechanics actually work. Like, not a lot of the mechanics, but like the gunplay. Shooting is good
Yeah.
in this. I
Yeah,
kind of
Yeah.
like I kind of like hitting start and going, ooh, I got something better, and like swapping out stuff for my character. I think that's okay. But then it's
Yeah.
like the multiplayer aspect or the social aspect is done. It feels like it was just put in there to go, and now you can play with people. It doesn't add anything. It doesn't do anything. It feels like it was
And
just
one
kinda
thing
put
I
there.
will say in the game's favor is that the font is actually pretty good.
Yeah, that was like the first thing you commented on when you played the game is that the UI is actually really good for a console game.
Actually, yeah.
Like, very
Yeah,
legible.
Yeah, like it's
readable.
actually really readable, which is rarer than it should be.
A lot
Also,
of games
for
use
some-
a very small font.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
also for something
okay.
that's not going to be on PC until probably next year, at least that's what I'm hearing. Why do they put a fucking cursor on those menus? Like,
that is so hilarious.
That
I
was
saw
so
that.
funny.
It has a fucking console cursor, and I'm like, bro, you could just put a little Windows mouse
Yeah,
there and
really?
you're fine.
I'm using the D-pad to move around and shit. And it's like, no, there's a cursor. I'm like, oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah,
there-
that
there's
was
a cursor. You
goofy.
have to move the
I'm
analog
getting
stick.
really tired of these, between this, Grand Theft Auto 5, Dead Rising 3, of all these people like, we'll make it for console first and then PC. I don't know if it's an anti-piracy thing, or if it's just they'll think that the PC people will just buy the console version, but it's pissing me off. I'm gonna have to wait a year for all these AAA games.
I think
Yeah.
it's just the mindset that they feel the console ones are the ones that sell first to like mainstream audiences because you know there are those developers out there that feel like PC gamers are not the mainstream market.
Yeah.
Like, that's a
Sucks.
really gross misconception, but
I mean, hey, at least
But
we get to
whatever.
finally play Dead Rising 3, like, almost a year after the fact.
Yeah,
Yeah, shit.
that'll be something I play like with my new video card. I eventually
And I'll
get.
get to play Destiny on next year's podcast, episode 52. Hey guys, I played Destiny. It's not that great.
Yeah, if the Steam leaks are to be believed,
Yeah, I'm sure it'll come out eventually. It's just a matter of how much
Yeah.
longer. Like whether it's like
I mean,
2
what
months,
else can I
6
say?
months, or a year.
Like regardless of what Bungie believes in, the fact is Activision is the one that's paying the bills for this, and the way their business model is that they would put this out eventually.
It's the EA model, which is put it on everything that is possibly compatible with. If they can put it on 3DS, they'll make a 3DS version.
Well, granted, Titanfall is kind of the exception because they have not decided to put it on PS4, but
I thought
wait
that
and
was
see
like
what
an
happens.
exclusivity deal, though.
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah, I don't think
But
they ever
wait, see
came out
what
and said
happens.
that, but that was the rumor anyway.
But wait and see what happens with Titanfall 2.
Oh, it's coming out on PS systems, unless Microsoft pays
Yeah.
some stupid money, which they won't because it didn't sell enough.
No?
So it's coming out for everything.
Yeah.
Which,
Where were we?
Great. Were we talking about video games? We talked a lot about video games all of a sudden. That was weird. We can't do that
Yeah,
anymore.
Let's talk about
Cheer-
the X-Files again.
Let's talk about not video games.
Destiny, because my big thing with Destiny is it's got good stuff, and then you've got the level layout, and then you've got the story that doesn't seem interesting. I don't care. It seems very cliched. It seems very drawn out and stupid. As we've said, the bad guys are called the Darkness, and then you've got the character customization, which I made a badass looking character, I'll admit, but it's very shallow and lackluster. There are, at least for the beta, you don't run into any characters that you care about. It's just, this is the shop owner. This is the armor maker person. This guy gives you missions. Like, they don't have personalities. It's just you walk over to them, you press and you hold X or
you gotta hold
Y.
it. It's very
Yeah.
important.
Yeah, you have to hold it and fill up a bar.
Just so they
which
don't
takes
confuse
about a
it with you actually like doing something with the X button.
Hey, you know what would solve
Yeah.
that? Something like some kind of board of keys that has a lot of them that you can have different buttons to do different
And the
things
thing is,
on.
like, there's no in the towns when you do that, and the towns you're not doing anything besides shops.
Yeah, it's really weird, because
Yeah.
normally that's like so you don't reload your gun, but if you can't reload, then why do you need to hold X?
Yeah, the only thing you
Yeah.
do that for in the town is for shopping. That's
Yeah,
really
you
the
don't-
only
you don't-
purpose the X button would have.
It's not like, you can pull your fucking
Like,
gun out.
oh my
and
god, I
start-
might accidentally jump while I'm having shit.
There's probably somebody on the complaint form right now. I keep jumping! These controls are awful!
It's terrible. It's terrible, and it's a very slow bar too. It's like, would you like to start the mission? You have to press and hold
And you
Y.
just like take a drink
it-
and then take a bite of your sandwich, still filling up.
This is. I'm going to guesstimate, but I'm going to say this is how long it takes. I pushed it. It just filled up.
And even worse is like when you go into a mission, you have to wait until there's
Yes.
enough people joining you in the mission before you can even start to load it up.
I
remember
didn't know that.
talked about that with Chris. We were making the Titanfall comparison of like the campaign having to wait for people, and that's the worst thing for communities. Is requiring certain numbers of people to do
Yeah,
something.
and last time we did this recording, we talked about how made Titanfall comparison. Actually, now I think about it,
Yeah, we did.
Mhm.
Chris
Because
is having a
it-
problem getting in the Titanfall campaign.
because I remember all the conversations that you and I have had, Sam, about Titanfall and its community.
Which
and
is funny,
how-
because when it came out, I defended it pretty hard, and I was sitting here
And
like,
guess
I
who
can't find
ends
my-
up being right in this conversation?
I had hope, man. I had really high hopes. But they failed.
Yes, but I was also the practical man, and the practical man always wins up. It's kind of high.
Well, like I said, I mean, I bought Titanfall when it was on sale,
Yep.
so
Yep,
I
same
don't
here.
feel
Hey,
too
you got
bummed
to
out
play
about
with
it.
me. And,
Yeah, yeah.
lucky you and Garrett.
I'm
so
loving
there's-
Titanfall.
We got to play
Yeah,
with we got to use Mies.
There's some fun with it. There's some fun to be had. I'm not gonna
Absolutely.
shit on it completely. I played on my own for a while, got up to like level 9, but we'll get into that
Let's
one.
play some Titanfall
Damn.
sometime.
I'm already like level 20.
Yeah,
Hey,
well, we'll get into
Gen
that
3
after
level
Ruby's done.
50, bro. Get on my
It's
level.
also kind of sucks that the level cap's only 8 in Destiny right now for the beta,
Well, yeah.
They did
but
that
that's
with,
not really a big deal. Like, I don't know what the cap is going to be for the final game.
Are you serious?
Probably
It's
gonna be
8?
50.
Well, that's just so you don't level up too much
No,
and like just
No,
get shit.
true,
and make it
true,
more interesting.
true. It's the beta, but in 3 hours, I have like over half the
Yeah.
over half
Well,
the cap.
yeah, but it's
in
like,
3
Yeah,
hours.
I've played for 3 hours. I'm already almost
Yeah.
level 7.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, they would not want
Probably
it to go
speeding up for the beta if I had to get.
Yeah.
I'm hoping.
I guarantee
Like,
if it's like
obviously
when
they would-
Battlefield came out and all that, they have accelerated XP leveling.
Well, yeah, and it's like, they don't want to go too far, probably because they don't have all that stuff done yet, and there would be those fuck nuggets out there that just like, oh yeah, I know how to get to max level, we'll just play this for fucking 20, 30 some hours in the same area, blah blah
It's
blah.
supposed to be just a teaser anyway, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's teased us because it bored me.
That's
If
like
I-
a
if-
tease.
I
But
think
yeah,
that's the
to hear
opposite side,
all
too.
that hype.
I don't think that's how that works.
I was actually going to skip. I was actually going to skip the beta initially. I had a friend that really wanted me to play it, so he gave me one of his beta codes.
I was gonna skip it until I said, I need to get off my ass and I really need to transfer all my stuff because I'm running out of space. I was running out of space. I had literally had 2 gigabytes left on my 60 gigabyte thing. I was like, I need to move all my shit to my 120 gigabyte thing. So I did that, and then I was like, oh, the Destiny beta. I've heard about that. It's free. I might as well play it, and I also get something special in case I get it. I might as well play it. I heard Bren doesn't like it. I bet he's wrong. I bet it's fun. I seriously thought that, and then I played it. I went, oh.
Oh,
I'm gonna
I'm
spend
gonna-
some more time with it later because, like I said, I really only put in like 40 minutes into it, and then
Yeah, and to be fair, for people like who might say we're wrong, it is a beta. Things could change. We will. I'm
True.
sure one of
that
us
is a
will play it
completely
when it
fair
comes
statement. This is still a beta, so it's not really representative of the final product. But if it isn't, why put it out?
out. Yeah. Also, there's the
If
fact
this-
that we're not game journalists. We're just dudes talking. So
Yep.
reserve your
Well,
angry comments for some more professional podcast.
I would
Well, I
see
mean,
games
all
journalist
of
one
the-
day, but that's currently not my profession.
Right.
All of the critics are going to say it's a great game because they want to get all the free merch.
I
Giant
suck.
Bomb seems to be thinking it's okay, but not
That's
great.
the
that's
thing,
good.
is I don't think I've seen anybody just say like it's fantastic aside from like Twitter people, but like it seems like all the major like corporations and like famous people I follow on Twitter are just like it's okay. It's fine.
Well, I mean, like,
It's pretty okay, it's pretty good.
again, it's like that game was hyped to shit, but to be confronted with this, it's like this was
Eh.
not worth all of that hype.
to be
It
fair, the
really
bar was
wasn't.
set pretty
Not at
high,
all.
but I think even so, it's still just okay, no matter where you set that bar.
yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll
At least
certainly. I'll be
Watch
curious to see what
Dogs
happens
was
when we get more
good.
areas and stuff.
Like, at least despite all the hype and all the bullshit I gave that game, and still, frankly, deserved, Watch Dogs was still decent.
I was going to say I think Watch Dogs. I was gonna say that because I actually liked Watch Dogs. Watch Dogs. I thought it was a fun game. I went and I was gonna say Watch Dogs was far more deserving of its hype than
Yeah, I mean, there's going to
Destiny
be
is because
yeah.
Because
Destiny
I gave
bores
Watch
me.
Dogs a ton of shit, and it deserved all that shit, but it was
Oh yeah.
good.
Obviously,
It's
like
still
I don't
fun.
I don't give a shit about the protagonist. I don't really care about the story. I don't give a shit about
Absolutely
some of
not.
the other stuff. The only dude I care about is I don't remember his name, but it's not the pizza guy, like that guy.
Jordy.
Oh, Jordy.
Yeah, Jordy.
Jordy.
Yeah, love the shit out of
Jordy.
Jordy.
Man.
Yeah, love
Guess
Jordy.
what? It's not the pizza guy.
I love Jordy.
Jordy
But
is-
everybody else, I don't really care about. But like I said, there's fun to be had with that game. There's a reason I have not, gotten rid of it. I may eventually go back to it if I feel like it, but whatever.
So, quick tangent about
Fucking
Watch
Jordy.
Dogs. Is the kid's name
Uh,
Jax,
really
as in
quick,
J-A-X, or is it Jax, J-A-C-K-S?
I think it's GAC. It's CKS. I think
Yeah,
it's
I
Jax.
think he's calling him Jax. I think his name
Jax.
is Jack.
Because his name is
Yeah.
Jackson, I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
see, look, it's a sticky bomb. See, it's sticky. See, it sticks.
I don't want to talk. Guy, I'm just gonna be honest.
Jordy's
I don't want
great.
to talk about Destiny anymore.
I don't want to. It's
It's-
bumming me out, man.
It's
Yeah.
it is so boring.
We are
that-
fated to
that-
no longer talk about Destiny.
Yes.
It is
I see what you're doing.
apparently
It's all comes out.
Destiny is so boring that talking about it is boring.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Destiny
Yeah, that's how boring it
podcast.
is.
Every week
Let's
we
move
discuss
on.
new breaking details on Destiny.
It sucks.
No, let's move on. Please, God, let's move on.
Okay.
I don't want to
Garrett,
move on.
You did anything else?
Well, hold up, really quick. I want to say something about Destiny, really
Oh,
quick.
God damn.
This is
Damn it!
no, it's
Damn it!
it's a
So close.
it's a good thing.
Yes.
It's actually kind of a good thing. Okay, so the Ghost is a stupid name, but the Ghost, the guy who plays the Ghost, he's on
Peter
Game of
Dinklage.
Thrones.
Yes.
Peter
Yes.
Dinklage.
Yeah.
People have actually been giving him shit for giving a very bad performance. I think his performance is actually kind of good. What do you guys think?
I don't think I've heard enough of it to judge.
From
It's
But, I mean,
not.
I didn't think he
I've
was.
seen, it seemed like he was purposely trying to take the emotion out of his voice, so I can see where people are coming from. Because he sounds like he
Yeah.
wasn't
He's-
trying to have any sort of inflection.
But he's an AI.
Yeah, no, I think I think he did it on purpose, and people were like, "Well, where's
Yeah.
like the
I don't
really
see a
crazy
problem with his
emotional guy?" It's like,
performance.
but that's the thing. He's supposed to not have any inflection. He's supposed to
Like,
be a very
yeah,
robotic voice.
I
Like,
don't
I
see
know
a problem
he-
with it personally.
I think with
Yeah, I
with the
think it is.
overlay they added with the beta as opposed to the alpha, it sounds a lot better. Because in the
That's-
alpha, when it was just his voice with no filter, it sounded really weird.
It's like, I know he's supposed to be this game's Cortana, but he's not supposed to be Cortana, so...
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it's more
think.
like Guilty
Yeah, I
Spark
think.
almost. Like really,
Yeah,
in the
he's like-
sense that,
he's like-
he's a
he's
straight
like Guilty
AI,
Spark.
less than a
Yeah,
personality.
he's a guilty spark. I think it's really good. I think it works. Anyway, I'll stop talking about Destiny.
Oh god. Anything else you did, but make it quick. No offense, just this has to end at some point.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Other than that, actually, no.
Okay.
That was about it.
Oh, congratulations on the new hard drive. I got 120 gigs some years ago. That's
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I still have.
Alright.
Yeah, it's just on my Xbox. Like my laptop, however, is going to need a 2 terabyte internal.
All right, Chris, Jaria, the man. What's up?
Yeah.
What have you been doing? Tell me.
Been playing some more Shovel Knight.
All right, cool. I want to buy that game. 'Cause
Yes,
people
you
say
totally
it's pretty
should.
good.
I have it on my Steam wish list.
Because it's fucking great.
I don't even. I never even played NES games, but people were like, "This game's fucking rad." I'm like, "All right, it was good over me."
Yes. So, you know, and I know, like, previous stuff that we've talked about, I'm just going to say it again because this is our first texture pop, but whatever.
Yeah, you know. Pretend people
you know-
have not heard us before.
Yeah. But, you know, I know it's been said by other critics and everything, but what's great about this game is that once you get past the NES-inspired aesthetic, it's still a good game. Because there are a lot of games that just rely on, like, hey, this looks like an 8-bit game, but there's not really much substance to it. That is not the case here. And that's why this is awesome, because there is a really, really good game behind Shovel Knight. And having played a good number of the levels, like, there's the 8 other knights that you have to fight, kind of Mega Man style, but the world map is kind of like Mario 3.
It's more linear. It's not like you can choose
Yeah.
the bosses, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you can kind of tackle them in, like, you know, you beat these bosses, and then you open this up, and then you can
Yeah.
take these stages in whatever order you
Like
want.
you said, Mario 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But and the
Mario
fucking Shovel
train.
Knight train.
Oh.
Yep, there it goes.
Shovel Knight train going where nobody else goes.
There should be a train night if they make another game.
Oh, fucking Train Knight.
Yeah.
I would fight the shit out of, I want to play as Train
God.
Knight. Have
Oh,
caboose
man.
attacks.
But
Train simulator, bitch.
that's not the case of the game. But
Train Simulator is the true Shovel Knight.
so having played, like, I've gone up against, like, I beat 7 of those knights so far. There's 8 of them.
Jesus. How long has
As
it taken
well.
you?
Not too long. Like it's one of those things where, like, a single sitting, I really enjoy playing this. So, you know, I die a couple times. You know, like, as many other critics have mentioned, like, there's no lives in this. You're basically corpse running each time you die
Yeah.
because, like, you have
Yeah.
gold. If you die,
It's
you
just
lose
like
some of
Dark
that gold.
Souls.
yeah.
Oh, there
yeah.
was one thing I wanted to mention now I think about it, but I'll let you finish
I
first.
know what you're gonna say, because Brandon is gonna say he recently wrote a piece about how game length means everything to games. It is the
That
sole
was-
important thing.
That wasn't it, but there was something else I want to talk about Kingdom Hearts related that reminded me of when
Alright. Anyway,
fine.
also I was lying, guys. Brandon's actually a smarter man than that. Anyway, Chris, continue with. Shovel
Yeah.
Knight. I'm curious about this.
So, like, you know, aside from that, there was also, like, a couple. Actually, no. There's only been one other, like, non-night boss-related stage, but I'll get to that in a minute. But having played some of those stages, really shows that there is a lot of intelligent level design in this, and the way this game was put together. Like, as well as, like, some of the old early Mega Man conventions of, you don't need some fucking character to pop up with a message and stop you going, oh, hey, wait a minute, you need to know about this, like tutorializing bullshit. This game respects your intelligence because every time it introduces a new enemy that I have felt, it gives you some space to where you learn how this enemy behaves, so the next time you face that enemy and you die, it's
your fault.
Yes, you fucked up. Because the game showed you what the enemy was capable of when it introduced you to it. In a safe kind of way, like in a safe part of the level where oh, if you get hit by this guy, you're not going to fall off a thing, or this guy isn't safe enough distance to where, like, if he doesn't attack, you won't get hit by him. So you see how the enemy behaves. So it does smart level design like that, to where the level itself is teaching you about the enemies that you encounter, so that you know how to get past them. Because if you, like I said, if you see the enemy again, you get killed, you fucked up. And the great thing about this of Shovel Knight is that it's not one of those like retro games that goes out of its way to be real hard. I mean, the challenge feels very fair, in my opinion, that I've seen. I mean, some of the bosses do get a little tough later on, but I mean, it is possible to do some of those fights. Like, if you practice, you can do some of those fights without taking a hit, if you get really good at it.
So, sorry to stop you again, but is it the kind of difficulty like old school, like it's straight up hard, or is it just more like it's a challenging curve? It does get progressively harder, and you're geared for the challenge by the time you get there.
I kind of feel like it's a challenging curve, which is something that is very hard to pull off.
Yeah.
And again, I applaud the people that made this game, because it is really, really smart in its design, and both the bosses and the levels and everything, and the way like it introduces like some of the abilities you get later on. Like, you have to buy like relics and stuff that give you new abilities, but it also has a good way of introducing you to stuff like that. Like, you'll find these rooms and there'll be a chest, and there's a dude in the chest who like straight up sells you the thing, but if you buy it from him right there, you're already in an area that gives you room to practice what this thing does and how you should be using it. Like, there's like a gauntlet that you can use to punch through like blocks of dirt, and if there are blocks of dirt in a row, you can use those to kind of traverse over pits, and it's really, really great stuff like that. It's just really smart. I love the shit out of this game, and I'm looking forward to completing it. As well as like one other like stage that I ran into, not really to spoil anything, but there's this area called the Hall of Champions, and this isn't one of the like main stages that has one of the knights you fight.
Okay.
But there is a boss in it, but going through there, because there are some levels that have ghosts in them, and if you hit them with your shovel, they don't die. They just kind of phase out, and you can go through them, but they phase back in eventually to where you can't truly kill them with just your shovel. But when you go to this building called the Hall of Champions, there's this like orb, and if you strike it, it emits like light beams, and if the ghosts hit the light, they die. And you go through that area to kill all the ghosts, and once you do that, it lights up the area. And at first, like, the walls of this place are lined with like pictures, and at first I thought, oh, the developers put themselves in here, and that might be the case. But when on closer inspection, I noticed some of them were based off of like current YouTubers, like,
wow.
like Jesse Cox was in there.
Oh, that's
and
cute.
The one that, and the thing that made me look at that the most, which stuck out like a sore thumb, the fucking Aaron from Game Grumps was in there, and they use the Game Grumps intro logo head for that.
Like the roundest little head.
Yeah. Like, it stuck out. I like that. That's totally fucking Game Grumps, and
that's pretty cute.
But that's what made me start to look at the other pictures. I was like, yeah, there's Jesse Cox. There's fucking Total Biscuit. There's I thought that was kind of sweet.
Aww. Game
so yeah.
Do care.
Yeah, I'm loving the shit out of Shovel Knight. That's a good fucking game.
Alright.
Recommend that to anybody.
If you'll permit me to take a quick detour back to Kingdom Hearts real quick.
Yes, please.
Please. Let's talk about Destiny.
I'm playing Final Mix, like I said, and Final Mix has a new difficulty called Final Mix Proud Mode. That I decided, since I was thinking Kingdom Hearts 1 is pretty easy, I decided to start playing on that difficulty. And I didn't realize exactly what I gotten into until after I started playing the game. Because in that mode, like, unless you're really, like, over-leveled, one hit from an enemy will take, like, half your health out.
Wasn't there already a Proud Mode? Wasn't that, like, with the difficulty names in the original Kingdom Hearts?
Yes, they made a harder version of Proud Mode.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that. What are the difficulties called? Was it just an easy, normal, Proud?
Beginner, normal, and Proud.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they made one above Proud. Final Mix
Yeah.
Proud. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They replaced
So I stopped-
Proud with Final Mix Proud.
It's like, stop the roller coaster, I want to get off. Nope, you're on the
No.
first loop, bitch.
And it's almost
Don't
Dark
end.
Soulsian in the way it works, because it's very, you had to rely a lot more on like positioning and capitalizing on the enemy's like downtime when they're in between animations, because otherwise you will get hit and you will die.
Anything that's more like Dark Souls, I am down for.
And I tried to get, because I decided I was going to be a trophy whore for once again in my life with this game apparently. And there are true trophies: one for beating the game without ever using a continue, and one for not changing equipment at all during the game.
Not fucking happening.
Yeah, I was playing on proud mode. I did that pretty well up until like about the deep jungle, when I fought the Clayton boss fight, and then I got to Traverse Town to do the inverse armor boss fight. That was not happening.
No.
There was no way in hell that was going to succeed, and I realized that at that point in time.
That's always been a Square thing of like the optional boss fights are always the most hardest thing in that game.
Well, no, it's not even. It wasn't even an optional boss fight. It was like a regular boss fight in Traverse Town.
Oh fuck!
Like the problem is that like to do that, the saves are like five zones away from the boss fight. So if I were to do it without using a continue, I would have to die and then go 5 zones and replace all of those fights over again just to get to the boss fight again. I was like, I'm not doing this. I don't have the kind of patience for that shit. Maybe I'll do it on beginner, but I don't care now. I'm just going to do a continue, and we're going to fight this boss fight again, and this, never mind.
Yeah, I've already decided, because I have this as well, and I already decided I'm not doing any of the trophy whoring bullshit on there. I'm just going to play through the game and play through the other game, and then
I'll probably try for some of the other more reasonable trophies, but like, yeah.
Yeah, like watching 358 Taste Over 2.
Yeah.
There's trophies for that bullshit.
But like, yeah, like the proud mode is definitely really hard unless you over level yourself, which is entirely possible.
People are insane. That's all I gotta say about that.
Yeah.
That's all I want to say about that. Now, Chris, you can go back to your turn.
Chris Stark.
Yeah. So other than Shovel Knight, I recently picked up Sly Cooper: Thieves in Time.
Ooh,
Nice. It's a good game.
I still need to
a
play
good
that. I think I got that free on
It's
PS
really good.
Plus or something like that. I don't remember. No, I think I got the first game.
It was on PS Plus for a while.
Yeah, although that game is fucking huge. Like,
because every game is huge now. All of them.
Yeah, the game is like it's over 10 gigs.
All that uncompressed audio, man.
Oh man, it's 7 different uncompressed audio languages.
Holy shit!
Just for Bentley alone, you gotta download the other characters.
But no, like, and you know, I figured I had some money. I'm just gonna straight up fucking buy the Blu-ray copy of it, and because it was like under $20. And, you know, and I felt good about getting that. I've really only spent like an hour with it, which was long enough to get through the intro and then see the opening cinematic for the next real area. But yeah, it's a Sly Cooper-esque.
It is Sly as you know and love him.
Pretty much, yeah. It's, you know, the controls feel exactly the same. Everything from a mechanical level feels exactly the same. It basically just feels like here's a PS2 games, but they've upped it with
even its pricing. It was priced at $40 when it came out.
Yeah, because I think it's not like to me, this game probably didn't need to exist. Like, I would have been totally happy without it.
Yeah.
But I think it was just that because Sly Cooper 3, it felt like Sucker Punch left that on such a good note to where if we didn't make any more of these, this was a good end cap.
I do think, though, that even compared to the other, like, Sly Cooper games, it was a bit on the easy side.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although you haven't gotten far enough to, like, really see that.
No. I mean, and, you know, granted, you know, they could have been aiming this towards kids, obviously. But, you know, the big thing about it was that this was not Sucker Punch behind this game in particular. This was Sanzaru Games, who I believe they were responsible for the Sly Cooper HD collection.
They were. That is correct.
Okay. Yeah. So obviously they didn't want to try to make any real big dramatic changes to formula or anything. They just
and I can't blame them for that. That was probably in the end a wise decision.
So I think really like the reason for this game's existence was let's see what a Sly Cooper game looks like on this new hardware, which, you know, it's not that new now.
Actually, the reason is, and I'm not kidding you, Sanzaru would finish the collection and they were like, I want to make a Sly Cooper game. And then
Yeah.
Sony, and then they told Sony, and I'm like, yeah, sure, they can select your game.
Yeah, I mean, especially because they got that movie they want to make, but who knows when the fuck that's gonna be out?
Got a trailer. It's totally gonna happen.
Yeah,
Guaranteed.
but really, I don't know.
man. That was
yeah,
like a joke because lots of things get trailers and just cease to exist.
Yeah, because it's like, what? I mean, granted, we've been seeing some more stuff for that Ratchet and Clank movie, but like this is a little bit of a ways off still, so who knows? But I do plan on spending more time with it. I will say that like some of the character models may not look as good. Some of them do kind of look like logical progressions from the PS2 to like PS3 hardware. Sly, I don't think looks too bad. Carmelita looks kind of jacked up, honestly. And
In what way? Like just like
face.
the face looks a little weird.
Yeah, like the face is the big thing. Like it looks like they've made her face bigger. It's weird.
Yeah, it does. The art style is something it took him getting used to for me.
Like Bentley looks okay, Murray looks okay, Sly, he looks a little bit different, but it's not that bad.
Yeah.
And it also because of because they can apply more detail to these characters, it kind of confirms that Sly does not wear pants. That's just him being a cartoon character.
Well, they always joked the original Sucker Punch developer commentary that this was a world of shirts and no pants.
Yeah, because what's funny because it's like back in the PS2 games, you could almost kind of guess, you could almost debate whether or not if he was wearing pants.
I always thought he was, so that's been shattered.
I did too, but no, he is not wearing pants. I mean, I still remember like when I played Sly Cooper 2 not long ago, and like you go into that museum area and there's like concept work for what the original game was supposed to be like. Originally, he wasn't even supposed to have a shirt on. Like,
huh?
Yeah, he went through a lot of redesigns.
Yeah, obviously.
Somebody was like, "Look, this guy needs a shirt." Jesus Christ!
If you want to see some really cool concept art, check out the original Spyro concept art. It's so cool.
Hopefully,
and the Jack and Daxter. And the Jack and Daxter stuff too.
Hopefully, it's Spyro art before he got beat with the ugly stick in like some of the later games that they made.
Yeah,
no. It's the original Spyro the Dragon, and then Spyro Raptor's Rage. It's like the concept art for those. It's really cool.
Although, as a side note, I don't think Spyro looked too bad in Skylanders, but that's just me.
I disagree. You were wrong on that one, my friend.
Oh shit!
I mean, he's looked worse.
Yes, he has, but he's also looked a hell of a lot better.
I won't argue that. I'm just saying that I don't think he looked terrible in Skylanders. I just
like,
think.
what are we what Spyro are we comparing him to? Just as a frame of reference.
What was it? I think the ugliest one was when they had what's his name from Lord of the Rings?
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, him.
Mm.
Like I think that was like the ugliest one.
I didn't mind that one too much.
Maybe it was the one that came after that. I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
I don't keep up with Sly.
I don't know who gives a shit.
Spyro.
Spyro.
Oh.
I don't know who gives a shit, but
I don't know. You do drugs.
So yeah, there was that, and and that beta I don't want to fucking bring up again. I played.
So you played Destiny. How was that? Tell me about Destiny.
God. Oh damn it! No.
Yes, I want to know what your thoughts about Destiny are.
Yeah,
you already heard my thoughts.
Say them again.
Tell them again.
Do it.
I think we've talked enough about Destiny for like a year.
Yeah.
That was only like 40 minutes of it.
I believe we've talked about Destiny for more than the Charkies actually played Destiny.
Yep.
It's definitely more than I played Destiny.
Oh God. Just no more.
What else did you do?
I'm trying. I know. So something else that was kind of note was that I had a hot moment for wanting to play Tribes Ascend, because after dicking around a bit with Titanfall, I was like, I want to boot up Tribes because I do really enjoy that game, and it's been a while since I went back to it. And multiplayer game, it's still it's still pretty cool. As fast as it moves around. Although, what kind of sucked was like, because I played like 3 matches in a row, like consecutively, and matches do go by pretty quick when there is a good number of people in there. When you got like 30, 40 people in one game, but the the third match, there was really like, including me, there was like 6 people, and it's like the score count is like each side has 30 lives, and you're like, oh shit, this is gonna take forever, and the timer is like 15 minutes. But still, had some fun with that. And also, and this was something that, got mentioned on the podcast that's now lost to time, was, I was talking about how Titanfall, you kind of don't have the option to just go through maps by yourself, which was something I used to like about older games, to where if you wanted to explore a map solo without,
just do
like...
a one-player multiplayer game and then just explore the map.
Like, Tribes Ascend allows you to do that. Like, there is an option specifically for just... You can, like, they actually have an option in there called free roam. So if you want to go around the map and just see what it's like, you can totally do that.
So it's not like jerry-rigging your private lobby. They literally knew people wanted to explore these maps themselves.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tribes Ascend is fucking awesome. I'm sorry.
That game is fucking rad. I just haven't played it in a while.
Yeah. Although, granted, I kind of get the feeling that high-res these days are putting all of their eggs into the Smite basket.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't think the community has left Tribes Ascend yet. I think there is still a good-sized community still there. Because something I did earlier this week was I bought the whole Tribes Collector's Game of the Year edition, which was, like, give us $20 and we'll unlock every weapon and perk and class for you in the game.
Wow. You just do not care. Just like, I just want to play the game.
Yeah. I mean, and granted, you can unlock that stuff without spending a dime, but I was like, I'll totally get this. Especially because when you buy that, they give you a skin to use in Smite, which gives him, like, armor, like the Blood Eagle tribe, which is kind of cool. But it's funny because...
forever, bro.
Yeah, and it's funny because when I bought the whole collector's edition of Smite, which was, give us $30, we'll give you every god and everyone that's coming for 4/10, and I was like, yeah, done. They only give you stuff for Smite. They didn't give you, like, any kind of cross-promotional stuff for Tribes.
Oh.
It just kind of made me feel a little weird, like, like, I wonder. And the fact that, like, when I opened up Tribes, I hadn't updated it in a while, but I guess it did not get any new updates recently.
Yeah.
But Smite still gets updates like a motherfucker for obvious reasons.
Yeah, I think the weird thing that I noticed is just the reason I keep agreeing with you about you saying they might have moved is because I recently saw their Twitter accounts for both Smite and for Tribes, and the Tribes Twitter hasn't updated since, like, April. And the Smite one had like several in the past hour when I looked at it.
Yeah,
I was like, I don't think it's abandoned, but they're just kind of like, we're done working on it unless it's like a major crash fix. Like, I don't think they're like doing any more content for it at this point.
Yeah, I mean, granted, there is a wealth of content in Tribes Ascend.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit in there.
And this is a great core game. Like,
yes,
fuck,
absolutely. I mean, if they don't add any more shit to it, that's fine, because there are plenty of weapons and everything that I know more than half of those things I'm not going to master, but that many weapons and stuff like that, it's kind of like how I am about fighting games, to where, like, I know I'm only going to be familiar with, like, a handful of these things, but again, I love the fact that you have free roam and you can experiment with weapons and how they fire and everything all on your own. I wish Titanfall would do something like that.
Yeah, especially with the maps that Titanfall has. Like, Titanfall, there's a lot of stuff I didn't discover until, like, 30 hours of playing that game.
I mean, to be quite honest, I'd seriously have fun just fucking running around those maps the way the movement handles in Titanfall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because that would be...
They're just basically playing Mirror's Edge, and that's fine.
I don't know if you can create a private lobby by yourself. I don't think we ever tested that.
No, I don't think we have, but I know...
Yeah. I know you can do it at least, too.
I know you and I played some Titanfall last week, I think, if not earlier this, which was kind of fun.
Yeah, playing with friends.
I've kind of made this strategy of, rather than getting in my Titan myself, I just set that thing to auto Titan almost all the time. Because
I feel like that's a very high level strategy I've discovered after, like, 82 hours of playing that game. I don't know how long I've played.
Because I just find, like, whenever I get in that thing, I'm in it for like a minute, and then right off the bat, I'm taking so much damage to where I just have to eject. And sure enough, like, when I leave that thing in auto tighten, it does way better.
I'll put mine in autopilot. I have the like the Jarvis Butler
The voice,
AI. Yeah, and like I remember I was playing one time.
I love how we all decide that AIs are just now named Jarvis forever.
Every AI ever, Jarvis.
Well, this one kind of is. Like I got
it's
it.
Like, it's like a British male
I love
voice. So yeah.
Yeah. I love getting.
And
into
they should
those.
be.
Yeah, I
I've
love
got
getting
the
into
British
like
female voice.
Jarvis or Jeeves, the name of every
See,
AI.
I was gonna use the middle female voice, like the one that's obviously an AI, like you must eject.
That's
Yeah.
the. There's only three. There's the base one, which
There's
is
three.
which is the female, and then there's the male British and the female British.
I think
I
it's
think
the
they're gonna
female
add a bunch
British
more.
then. Yeah, it's the blue female.
That's not
The
the,
blue
default. That's
female-
one of the new ones. The default one is just the.
Yeah, the
American
default
female.
one's the American female. Okay, so it was the British female. She's like,
Eject. Yeah.
yeah, it's like warning,
boring.
enemy pilot.
Yeah,
it's
it's
boring.
like-
I it's boring, but I liked it.
No,
liked it
that's
because
what I use. Like I
Yeah.
haven't played Dragonfall forever.
it was straight to the point. It was like, you have an enemy on the hull. I was like, okay. But I went to the other one because, like, I was just like, you know what? It's friendlier. I have more of a connection to my Titan. And I love getting in. And he's like, well, welcome back. I kept the seat warm for you. I was like, oh, it's great. And then
They need to have an AI voice done by Stephen Fry. Just
oh my god.
Yes.
I remember one
they,
time.
they should have a Titan voice that's GLaDOS.
oh god.
God, get in. He's like, oh shit, all right.
Speaking
It
of,
is. I can't promise not to murder you. Oh, but no, I was playing and I wasn't doing that good, and I was like, oh god, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna leave him on autopilot, and I'm gonna die. And as soon as I got out, he went, good luck out there. And I was like, I just stopped. It's like, oh.
Wait, who said that?
And the British male butler AI.
Oh, the AI said that. Okay. I thought you
yeah,
were
yeah,
one of the
I
people
got-
on screen like the Radiocom guys.
No, I got out and he went, good luck out there. And he started following, and then he started following me around. I was like, I can't let him down, and I actually played better. Weird. I ended up getting 7 kills, 3 deaths. I was pretty happy with that. Pilot kills.
so something I want to kind of tangent off of, since we're all about Jarvis. Anybody else see some of the stuff that they've been talking about for Avengers 2 next year?
No.
So Marvel has been doing this thing to where they kind of announced the actor who does the voice for Jarvis, he has been cast as the Vision for Avengers 2. And right off the bat, everybody kind of speculated the theory that was just kind of out in the open is Jarvis going to be the Vision? And then they just basically confirmed that, yes, Jarvis becomes the Vision for Avengers 2.
I am familiar with Marvel, but I'm not that familiar. What is the Vision?
I'm
No
going to be
fucking idea
honest.
what you're talking about.
I don't know what the Vision is either.
Okay, so in Marvel Comics, the Vision is an android superhero who he has the power to fly, he has increased strength, he can phase through walls, he can shoot lasers out of his eyes, and he is called, in Marvel Comics, he's called this because Ultron takes this android, which used to be known as the Human Torch, not to be confused with the Human Torch from the Fantastic Four, but there was another Human Torch in Marvel. There was another Human Torch in Marvel Universe that was just straight up an android. And Ultron took him and made him into this android that was just meant to... He was going to be his kind of sleeper agent to destroy the Avengers from inside. And the reason he called him the Vision was he was Ultron's vision for the future. And basically, being an android, he develops human emotions, he gets attached to people, and he ends up turning good guy, and he becomes a superhero. So that's the comic book origin. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they've basically said that Jarvis is going to become this android who becomes the Vision for the Avengers 2.
So he's just going to be like Tony Stark's going to build a suit for his AI that's basically just, okay, this is your suit, Jarvis, you can do this.
They've kind of I don't know what the specifics are on that yet, but they've kind of said that some of the story details are that, they have already said that Ultron is basically this kind of accident by Tony Stark, to where Tony Stark is making this army of like robot Iron Man suits called like the Iron Brigade, and which is like, yeah, and then one of them goes rogue, and that's what Ultron becomes.
Oh.
And then whatever the specifics are for Jarvis becoming the Vision is going to be interesting, though. And fun fact is that, so they've released this big teaser poster for Avengers 2, and in one of them, specifically the poster that's supposed to be highlighting Quicksilver, in like the top right corner, you can kind of see this. You can kind of faintly see the Vision hovering there.
That makes sense for Tony Stark being the dumbest smart guy.
Kind of, yeah.
Ever in like that is basically his MO. He's a really brilliant guy, but he's also really stupid with the way he uses his brilliance.
Yeah, it's kind of this. I mean, in the comic books, that's kind of how Ultron got started to begin with, to where like Hank Pym, who was also known as the Ant-Man, he made this AI robot thing to do stuff, and sure enough, it goes rogue and wants to destroy all humans, and that's Ultron. And
isn't there an Ant-Man movie supposedly coming out at some point?
Yeah, it is, and they talked about it. They talked about that recently in Comic-Con. So, but yeah, Avengers 2. I'm getting hype. So,
I mean, it's the Avengers. Avengers was a really awesome movie. So,
yep. Of course. Well, I'm glad waiting, because I'm gonna have Guardians of the Galaxy tide me over, as well as anything else they have come out after that. Especially when Captain America: Winter Soldier comes out on DVD. You gotta watch the shit out of that.
I'm Star-Lord. Who? Star-Lord, man.
And I just love the fact that they're not taking that seriously at all. It's like Warner Brothers is taking their movies way too seriously and making them way too mature.
Didn't you complain about Wonder Woman earlier today on Twitter?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
yes,
you did.
because,
I saw it.
Yeah, so they've also, on the Warner Brothers and DC Comics side of things, they've been showing more posters of stuff their characters are going to have in Batman v Superman, aka dumbest subtitle ever, and like, good God, they're taking this way too seriously and trying to make it way too mature than it needs to be, because it's like,
you need your grimdark before you can have your dessert.
There was one comment. There was one comment on The Escapist that summed this up perfectly. Of, you have Superman standing in a cemetery looking mopey, you have Wonder Woman standing there covered in nothing but shit brown, and you have Batman just standing there sad, looking at the floor. And it's like, what the fuck is this movie? Just looks. I mean, from these posters and stuff, this movie just looks so depressing. It's
I can't wait.
It's a superhero film.
For some reason, for some reason, I'm drawn to those kinds of films. I don't know why.
It's just really dumb, and it's like a movie about comic book superheroes is drab and dark, and it's like they're using the whole fucking Gears of War, Call of Duty color palette for all this shit, and it's
no.
And
gunmetal gray and bullshit brown.
And and as I posted on Twitter, that Wonder Woman poster just looks like they used the shit crayon and everything. They just, I can't get excited for this. I'm sorry. It's like I had a conversation with somebody the other day about, they were talking about the rumors flying around about Dwayne Johnson possibly being Captain Marvel, aka Shazam, which I have no problem with. I think
would find that hilarious, unintentionally.
I think he could pull that off. I feel Dwayne Johnson's a decent actor.
Yeah, but it's The Rock. That's all I ever see, man.
Well, yeah. But I have no problem with him being Shazam. My problem is with the creative teams that Warner Brothers hires to write and direct these things. I have no faith in, especially after Man of Steel. Like, I just cannot give a shit. And really, a lot of people laud the Dark Knight trilogy as like being one of the best things ever, but honestly, when you look back at those fall apart really easily, especially Dark Knight Rises. Like,
Rises is a piece of shit.
Yeah, it is. It's really dumb. Like, at the time when I saw it, I kind of walked out of there thinking it's okay, but over time, when I look at it, I'm like, this is fucking stupid.
I never got over the Batman voice. That always upset me.
Yeah,
like,
it's really
how
dumb.
Forced it sounded.
And everyone after that decided to copy that fucking voice.
So dumb.
So cool.
I can't wait for fucking Superman to have this really gruff voice. My name is Superman. I'm the Man of Steel.
It's sad because I see that happening. That's with the fucking washed out. Like I've said, Superman's costume was just like it was it was what the costume should have been, but damp. It was just. It's like.
Has there been a single piece of good press for this thing since it's been announced? I feel like it started out
there
with people
hasn't.
being
Like,
pissed
no
off.
one gives a shit.
No.
I think
It's
they give
really-
a shit. They want it to be the more golden age of superheroes. They're tired of all this grimdark stuff.
Yeah,
You know
it's like
why? Because everything is fucking grimdark.
Yeah, that's why I applaud Marvel for what they're doing, to where it's like they know they're making movies that are just cartoons. Let them be cartoons. And it's awesome. That's what the Avengers fucking was. It was a cartoon with bright and colorful characters.
I have a pet theory as to why, or a hypothesis as to why we have so much grimdark today. I have a
Because
theory
Batman.
that media is a reflection of the writers' minds. That's something that's kind of obvious when you think about it. So that everyone is like in this world, we see a lot of grim shit. Like the news is always talking about how bad everything is, even though that's rarely ever true. But since we all internalize this, the world has going to shit message that everyone's talking about. We see a lot of darker fantasy to reflect this reality that we believe is true.
Yeah, I don't know.
You could be right, but I feel like the simple answer is like Chris said, which is just Batman sold a lot of money.
Yeah, and it's like
It
people.
made a lot of money, and people are just like, I just want to make
And
money.
it's like people think that, like, you know, making something, like, you have to dumb down the color and everything to make it look more mature, to get more mainstream
Why don't
audience.
they just do the standard Hollywood thing and just use blue and orange?
I don't know. It's just
They're
it's
so
just really
contrasting.
dumb. I can't give a shit for anything that Warner Brothers is doing, though. Whereas I'm getting all the hype for Marvel. And granted, the last thing I'll mention is that there was somebody on the Escapist forums. They were talking about, like, oh, everybody's Marvel fanboys here, and nobody understands that Warner Brothers is trying to do something different
I
from Marvel.
also wonder if, like, because the one movie that did not take itself that seriously, if my memory serves, that DC made was Green Lantern,
Yeah,
and
but
that movie was absolutely abysmal.
there were problems with that other than the fact that it didn't take itself seriously. Like, numerous problems. It was just...
Yeah, but I wonder if, like, DC, like the people who make the movies, are just latched onto, oh, we didn't take ourselves seriously enough for this one, and that's why it didn't do well.
I wouldn't be surprised, given the backwards ass line of thinking that they have, because, yeah, they probably looked at, like, well, we tried to make a cartoon with Green Lantern, and it did terrible. And it's like, well, that's not the only reason that film did terrible. There's a lot of other reasons.
Like, it's a bad movie.
The monster
Yep.
was a piece of shit. Literally, it was
I-
giant turtles.
We'd be here all night if I go on to why I hate that movie so much, but... Because I don't think we've even gotten to what Sam has done.
Nope. Luckily, I have not done much.
Okay.
Alright, so you good, Chris? Told us everything? Anything else?
Well, like I said, I mean, I know one of the other things we did, like, we played Titanfall, and that was fun.
Yep. Whew, we should record some of us playing Titanfall sometime. I'm sure that'll be great.
That'd be fun.
Alright.
We should,
well-
we should record us doing more things together, just like in general.
Yep.
It's like we've done that before, somewhere. Somewhere in my hard drive.
We need to play Payday together at some point. We
Yep.
keep saying we're going to do that, but we never actually do.
Well, we got like 3 of us together, but we've never got all 4 of us in one game
Yeah.
before. Alright.
That and try to play, like, easy missions, because we get fucked. We play on normal.
Yep. Apparently we're terrible.
Guess whose fucking fault is that? Asher. Sam.
Everyone's.
Ash Sam.
To be fair, I chose the normal stuff. Only like once I choose the hard one. I think I told you guys I was doing it. I don't remember.
Which, obviously, we aren't ready for.
I just thought it was funny.
Oh, God.
Alright.
Playing
So,
Battlefield
I
and
have not
hardcore.
played. I have not played too many games this week. One thing I did play though, I've been getting back into is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, which is weird. 'Cause
How
I
is
wa-
that?
I got back into it because I watched a couple of YouTubers I know play out Battlefield. They're like, hey, I started playing Counter-Strike, and I was like, alright, I guess I'll start playing Counter-Strike again. That game is fun and addicting, but might be the single hardest shooter in the world to learn.
Mm.
And I'm not really sure if it's for the right reasons. It's just...
Yeah, because I have this myself, but,
Game's hard. It's like,
Mm.
just, it's very much stuck within, like, that old way of learning where, you know, they still have to clutch stiff. Like, if you have your knife out, you run faster. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But then, like, they never changed with the times in that there's no visual recoil with your gun. When you fire, the gun will stay where it is, but your bullets go everywhere. But your crosshair also won't tell you where they're going either, because it only gets bigger or smaller when you move, not when you're standing still. So you can literally stand still, and your gun will just, like, you can just shoot, and your gun will just stare at the wall, but your bullets will start going up and to the right. And I'm like, that doesn't... But
Oh, there's no feedback at all?
Basically none. Like
That's shitty. That's just shitty game design. Okay, that's not old school anything. That's just shit game design.
I think maybe, like, I don't know, because I think that's also just based off the Source engine. It's just, it looks a little bit prettier than Counter-Strike Source,
at least change the crosshairs.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like the kind of thing. It's just the bullets, like, they spread more than they go up or down or left or right, which is more Battlefield style. They literally just kind of spread in all directions. So you're encouraged to tap fire, but I have yet to be able to hit people correctly. And again, old school mindset, like, headshots mean everything. So the game will tell you how much damage you do and how much you've dealt to a certain person when you die. So, case in point, when some guy shoots me with a pistol, it says, damage dealt, 1 hit, 173 damage to head. So that was with 1 shot. He does 173 damage. That's how much damage a headshot does. It'll kill you twice over. So, generally, you will die by rounding the corner and some guy's aiming at your head and it will just go pop and you're dead. Whereas you could put like 50 bullets into them and they'll all miss because I'm a terrible shot. Yet, for some reason, I keep coming back to it. There's some part of me that's like, if I just get slightly better...
And that's the addiction train going by.
Yep. I'm hopping on. But it's so weird because it's like, you know, with Battlefield, I managed to do that. I managed to get over that hump where it's like, I can kill people in Counter-Strike if they're not looking at me. But it's just those face-to-face conflicts, like every once in a while, just that one kill you get, it was the most rewarding kill in the world because you know you overcame so many different things against you. You overcame the bullet spread, you overcame having a worse gun because the gun balance isn't like, they didn't try to make all the guns balanced, it's balanced by cash, how much it costs. The only problem is when you're playing a casual, you have plenty of money for any gun in the game. So you literally just buy better guns. But the only problem is I'm trying to learn specific ones, and yet they're also specific to the side. So I have to learn like three or four different guns per side. It's kind of a nightmare. Again, game's hard. I've talked more about that, but I don't know much shit about Counter-Strike. So, it's fun. Maybe I'll get some people to play with me to be good. I bought Gods Will Be Watching, which looks really cool, but I've yet to play it.
Jim Sterling did a scritty play on that.
Yeah. I first saw it with Jesse Cox, and then I bought it after I watched the Giant Bomb Quick Look.
Yeah, Gods Will Be Watching is kind of an interesting case, because that was something that came, that was from a game jam.
Oh, wow. It looks very interesting and, like, really morbid as fuck. And then it's basically, the whole premise of the game is that in any given situation, you have maybe 6 to 10 different options, and each option will have multiple different outcomes to different people. And the whole point is trying to keep everything in balance. So the most basic one that I think came from the game jam, which is like sitting at a campfire, and you can talk to anybody, and you can give food, you can ration out food to any given person, you can kill any given person, and certain people have special things they can do. So it's like, you could post guard, but then you're going to need more food if you're going to be alert with it, because you're the only guy who knows how to use a gun correctly. And it's like, but then all the other people will starve if you do that, so you have to like micromanage different things. It's pretty interesting sounding.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's kind of the whole Walking Dead thing of there is no choice path that leads to everybody being okay.
There's like literally nothing you can do that will not hinder somebody else. Everything has a consequence.
It is shades of shit.
Everything is shades of shitty for you.
It's from gray to brown.
And the reason I did not play too many games...
like the Wonder Woman poster.
Oh, God. The reason I don't play many games, though, is because after... You know, I've had Windows 8 and 8.1 for, God, probably almost a year now. And at one point, a few days ago, I was like, you know what? I want to try Windows 7 to see if it fixes some weird Explorer issues I've been having and things like that. It's minor gripes. So I went and did that, and I was like, alright, let's just format the whole system and install Windows 7. What could possibly go wrong? Got home from work at 10 p.m., started that process. Come 6 a.m., I'm still working on it.
Oh.
Windows 7, you know, whatever you may say about Windows 8, I'm sure you have perfectly valid complaints. Windows 8 comes pre-installed with many drivers that are necessary to get your computer running correctly. Windows 7 does not include an internet driver. I had to find out a way to get internet to install more internet drivers so I could use specific cards I have. It did not come with any graphics drivers. It did not come with any audio drivers. It was just Windows 7. That was it.
Huh?
And I probably would have kept it because Windows 7 seems fine. It doesn't really seem any better than 8 now that I've gone back. But there's a very specific issue with Aero, which, as you guys know, Aero is the frosted glass sort of look that Windows 7 has, and Windows Vista had it too. And, you know the Aero has very smooth animations, right? Like when you open close Windows and you move them, it has like that really like crazy animation to it. Windows 8 basically killed that. They fucking forgot about it. So, with the monitors I have, which are 60Hz refresh, apparently they just fucking break Windows 7 Aero over its knee, because every time I try to like maximize window as a window or move them or like that, the whole thing goes at like 2 frames a second. So I'm literally seeing the frames of the window open and close.
Wow.
Everything else works fine, and like it's just as fast, it's just super framey. So when I looked up all these things, everybody's like, well, you know, you can change your refresh rate in your monitor. It's like, yeah, I can do that, but then I can't install NVIDIA drivers because it'll lock it to 60. And it's like, well, you know, you can do this, this, or this, or unplug monitors, try different outputs. At some point, I was just sitting there at like 5 a.m., and I was like, I don't care, man. And a bunch of people were like, well, it's just an aesthetic thing, you get over it. And I was like, I'm not going to get over it, because I have an eye for these things. I will always see it every time. So, literally, I went to bed that night, and I woke up, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Installing Windows 8. Don't go to 8.1, because it fucks up Windows Explorer in a really stupid way. It gets rid of libraries, which fucks up my workflow.
And gets rid of podcasts, apparently.
Yes, it destroys valuable podcasts. So, that was an
Well, I don't know
adventure.
about valuable. Like, that might be going a bit too far, but...
that was like, oh god, like 5-6 hours of straight work trying to get drivers and shit, and giving myself a massive headache sitting under my desk the whole time on the carpet, trying to get these things to work. It's like, whatever you say about Windows 8, man, the pre-installed OEM system builder version of Windows 8 is much better than Windows 7. That's what I can tell you. So, that was why I didn't play too many games. Also, I'm not even gonna cry. Not angry. Not sad. I lost 130 hours of progress in Dark Souls 2. My characters were wiped, and there's no cloud save.
God!
I think I would actually cry.
I was literally so upset that I couldn't cry. I just stared at my screen, and I just looked at the whole... I looked at the character list, and it just said new game. I was like, there's no continue option. And then I went and looked for cloud saves, and someone's like, there's no cloud saves. I was like, really? I was like, yes.
Steam Cloud is always great, except when it's not there.
And then I thought back to my character Ash and all the things she had seen. She beat New Game, then she beat New Game Plus, and then I went and forged all the boss weapons, which took a long time, because I had to beat the New Game several times to get all the souls.
Oh, man.
So I was on New Game Plus, and I was going to go play the DLC, which I bought the DLC before I realized this, mind you. The Crown of the Sunken King. Can't play it now, because I get halfway through the game. And I also lost my Hexer character, who was on New Game Plus, and that was the character that had beaten every single boss in the game, including the hardest boss, which is called, what is it called? Death Angel or something like that? It's part of the Pilgrims of the Dark Covenant. It was a time.
I'm sorry,
I lost
man.
Dark Dragon Age Origins. I didn't care.
I'm really sorry for you, like, genuinely.
I
would be in tears if that happened to me.
It's like I lost progress.
Like I remember when I was playing Jack 3 back when games were still on the PS2, and my cousin came over to play the game, and he deleted my 100% complete save of that game.
Yeah.
I was in tears.
Yeah, you viewers won't know this because this was like old podcast we do at GFBS, where I talked about how once a friend of mine brought over a copy of Arcana Hearts Japanese fighting game, and it wiped my memory card, including my clear save of Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2, and my 65-hour game of Persona 3. That was like, I only just now started Persona 3.
That's close to the end, too.
Yeah, man, that's like, I would never want to fucking play those games again.
Yeah, and I only just now picked up Persona 3 like a few weeks ago.
I felt bad.
That wipe happened when I was like 12.
Ouch.
Going back to my story, I felt bad afterwards.
That's like 5 years.
Because my cousin, after I yelled, he started throwing up. I felt really bad.
I don't know how I was supposed to react to the Dark Souls news. Although it probably says a lot about me that I immediately just started a new game.
Like
was
you,
like,
you
well,
You are crazy, dude.
I am fucking insane because I started.
That
I was
would-
like, I don't
that
give a fuck.
would
Let's
take
do
me
this
a cou-
all night. Let's go. 24-hour stream.
like I mean that was the thing. That was the thing. You could. There was a point you couldn't stop playing that fucking game.
Oh yeah, no, it was.
Yeah, that
terrifying.
was yesterday, dude.
But it was just like, I can't even be upset. I was just like, I didn't care. And I lost my Dark Souls 1 progress as well, I should say, but I was kind of done with that game at that point. Dark Souls 2, I was going to play the DLC, because everybody's like, it's super great. And now I got to get a little over halfway through the game again.
Wow.
I don't know, I'm just throwing my hands up, I don't know. I lost my progress in Dragon Age Origins as well, which was a good 15 hours in. I was on the third
Oh
or
god,
fourth.
I would not. If that happened to me, I would just like seriously stop playing the game.
Also just started a new game, but I lost that progress again because I reformatted again. Dragon Age, though, as soon as I started the game, I got through the tutorial, and I was like, I'm just gonna put this down for a minute.
I was seriously at that point just like get someone to make me a custom save where my character's level 99
Yep.
and just
Yeah,
like not
fuck
even
that.
bother.
And I did lose my progress for Shadowrun Returns, but when I messaged the guys, there's a guy who's a designer who I talked with a whole bunch, named like OGB Eplex or something like that. And he totally messaged me, and he was like, yo, dude, like, there's Steam Cloud support, I guarantee it, Steam's just a little weird about it. And I talked with him for a little bit, got my cloud saves, so that's how I was able to finish Shadowrun Returns, luckily. But everything else that's not Steam Cloud, gone. Like, nothing. I'm pretty sure that means, like, I lost, like, Deus Ex clear save, or, like, fucking, I don't know, like, I could probably just skim through my list of games, all 761. Like, any DayZ
Wow.
work I did is gone. Anything I did in Fuel is gone, which is, like, more than halfway through the game. Like, just, it's all gone. Anything I did, Psychonauts is gone. Sam Max Progress is gone. Super Brothers, Torchlight.
Good god. Like I said, I would be crying.
Yep.
I don't even know how
Like-
to
I
feel.
would be like sitting in my chair just like,
Like,
crying.
did you make any effort to back any of that shit up? Like, I'm sorry, but if I no, like if I was gonna do anything like that, I'd have some of that shit on like an external hard drive somewhere.
Well, to be fair, they were on external drive, like the Dark Souls stuff, but I could load my computer, so that's when I had to do the first reformat. Like, the screen was black because I had a weird virus. So granted, it was still there, but because I couldn't launch the game, I couldn't get access to the save editor to copy my save.
Even still, I do fairly regular backups of my things. Like I just did a backup yesterday
Yeah.
of my
Yeah.
my major files.
I should probably get another hard drive. I've got 2 or 3 in there right now. Should probably go get another. I don't know, like I said, like, partially it's my own fault. Part of it was just I looked at the new game and I was like, you know what? It's fucking Dark Souls 2. I was going to play it again anyway. I was literally about to start New Game Plus Plus. So, fuck it, whatever. Like, I'll go get those Moonlight Greatsword again. And just hope I get
Wow.
the right drops, which is the only thing that's probably going to suck, is I had some armor set that was random drops. So, we'll see how that one goes. But yeah, Windows 7, oddly incompatible with my system. I think it's just a monitor issue, but it was the most annoying thing. I did a full clean install twice, had the same problem. So I just went back to Windows 8, and I was like, you know what? Whatever you say at Windows 8, Arrow fucking can suck a dick. I hate Arrow, and I'm really glad they flattened it out and just got rid of all the transparency, because they were like, look, this is dumb. Hopefully
Wow.
Windows 9 will also have a nice start menu, because that's kind of missing. But yeah, it's been an experience. I also lost like all this. This is a very weird thing. Is I like to get like really high res wallpapers and collect them and then show them to a friend of mine. Lost all of those, including that. Music is luckily in the cloud. Luckily, all my documents are, because back when I was like 18, I lost all my computer files, including like a 45-page novel I was writing. Lost all of that. So ever since then, I write everything in Google Drive and nothing else.
What?
I think I need just, like, there needs to be some kind of third-party client that just knows where saves are and just auto-backs them up. Because I know
Or
some
an
client...
external. What? Why does an external hard drive not work for you?
Technically, it's on a different drive than my system. It's just that you can't just throw saves in there for a lot of games. You can't just throw random save files in there. It doesn't work like that.
Okay.
So you have to, like, I'd have to back up, like, the entire game and, like, the part of this system that Steam installed to as well. Granted, if I did, like,
Okay.
a system... If I did a full system
Well,
image
no,
backup...
you can just like make folders. and put the save files in them.
But I'm saying not all games work like that. If I did a fresh install of the game, not all saves, I can just
not all, but most.
I see what he's saying though. Like
most
you
of
can't
them I
do
don't
that.
care about. Dark Souls 2, I cared about, and that's gone.
However, as far as like your wallpapers and like your documents and all that shit, you could have had that shit on like an external hard drive.
The wallpapers I backed up once, and I forgot to back up the second time when I went back to Windows 8 after Windows 7. So I backed them up for 7 and not 8, which was dumb. So a lot of this is personal error, which means kids, go back up your computer, back up your system image file. That's the important part. Not just like your files. Do a full image backup. Which I do with my phone constantly, funny enough. Like, I back up my phone constantly.
Your phone, but not your computer where you do all your work.
Yes. Everything, it's like Twitter, man. Everything's vapid. It can just all go away, and it's okay. Like, I literally feel like I should care more, because everybody I tell this to is, like, completely floored. And I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, I'm upset about Dark Souls a little bit. It's like everything else is kind of whatever. Like, Dragon Age, I'm kind of bummed about, but I'll pick it up eventually again. Like, I don't know. There's probably some game I'm forgetting that like will really bum me out going back to, but
God, I think
if I can't remember it, I don't care. So that was my big week. Is I played Counter-Strike in that, and I decided I'm not sure how long it'll last. I decided to take a little bit of a break from Battlefield 4, so I'm just not going to install it again. I'm tired of the shit that's going on in Battlefield 4 right now.
What is going on in Battlefield 4 right now? Like
everything. Just, like. I saw some CTE improvements where they're trying to reduce grenade spam because, like, the whole reason I play in hardcore is because there's friendly fire, which means you can't just toss grenades like a fucking lunatic. So when I play normal, it's like I go around a corner and it's like, here's 50 grenades! Some of them are impact grenades, some of them are mini grenades, some of them are regular grenades. You'll never know which is which. So you never know how to react. So it's basically just lots of grenade deaths and lots of, like, getting sniped across the map. And I was like, at some point, I just threw my hands up. I was like, competitive shooters can go fuck themselves. I'm gonna learn Counter-Strike and just nothing else. I'm just gonna play Counter-Strike the next 10 years straight. It's been a weird week for me, between that and work. So yeah.
Yeah.
I wish I'd talk more about games, but next week I'll talk about Gods We're Watching and Counter-Strike and other stuff, hopefully. Maybe I'll talk about my new Dark Souls 2 journey.
When you don't lose your fucking save files, so...
Yes. Next week I'll reformat 3 more times, lose everything. Yes, I'm sure next week you guys can hear about my new Dark Souls journey, which I'm sure will be interesting. I've also been watching 2 best friends play Dark Souls, which has been invigorating, to say the least, to make me play it again.
Oh, just
to watch someone else play it.
Yep, because it's not you in the hot seat.
Yep. Oh god, Dark Souls. It's kind of weird that I've played that game so much, it's not even, like, hard anymore. It just is. Dark Souls is just a game. It's not even a hard game anymore. I could probably write something about that. I'm sure somebody else has. About how eventually Dark Souls difficulty doesn't even matter, because you just know everything. I could probably tell you all the enemy placements of everything in the first area of Dark Souls 2. I could probably draw a map of the area.
Yeah.
Anyway, so, if this is your first time listener, I swear I'm more exciting when I don't lose all my files. I usually play a lot of games every week, but next week, just look forward to it then. Luckily, these guys really pulled it in for me, and they played a lot of cool stuff when I didn't, which I'm really glad I went last in that case.
As well as talking about a bunch of bullshit that had nothing to do with video games.
Let's talk about the X-Files again. That was interesting.
That reminds me, though, that when we were playing Titanfall, me and Chris had a funny conversation where Chris talked to me for about 30 minutes straight about comic books, while I was just sitting there playing, I don't remember what I was playing, maybe Battlefield, and he was just telling me about, like, Spawn and all the shit that was going on. I was like, Chris, this is fucking... this is amazing. Like, what the fuck is happening with comics? And
this
I was like,
can
we make a
level
comic
stuff.
book podcast where you just tell me about comics? Like, no, Texture Pop is everything. We will talk about anything and everything.
Yeah, the stupid bullshit that has happened with Spawn since, like, I stopped following it.
Did you guys know that Spawn is, like, God now? Like, he literally became God of, like, the whole universe?
Didn't he give away his God powers?
I don't know.
Basically, for whatever reason, I don't know.
We talked about that. We talked about Cyclops and Spider-Man.
I mean how Cyclops is a total pussy?
Well, apparently, like, how he became a total dick and, like, killed people and became evil. And then he wasn't evil.
Yeah, Cyclops had a weird thing. He became an asshole.
Yeah. What was the other... I can't remember what the other one we talked about was. There was another big one. I don't know. Spawn was the main draw. It was hilarious.
Yeah. Just weird shit.
Just because Chris took me from the beginning. I was like, how did Spawn start? And we got from there to Spawn became God. And I was like, okay, this is quite a journey.
And the only reason I know half of that bullshit, because like back in the 90s when I was a stupid kid, I read that stuff, and then I was one of the few people that, like, you know, at the time when I was young and stupid, I kind of liked the Spawn movie, but in retrospect, I can see the Spawn movie is shit.
Yep. I was the exact same. I was the exact same way. I was like, the movie was cool and edgy, and then I see it again. I'm like, wow, that was.
Yeah, it's garbage now, but
it was terrible then.
But like, you know,
I was
after
too
a
young
while,
and stupid to know.
Yeah, and then, you know, when I fucking matured, I realized this is fucking stupid, and then I stopped reading the comics, and then later on, like a year ago,
the comics were good. The comics were good.
A year ago, I've decided to look up what was going on. Well, that and, like, Todd McFarlane's a fucking jerk-ass. I'm sorry, I'm just...
Yeah,
No,
we also discussed Image Comics for like a good while.
Yeah, so that was the other thing we talked about, was like, why Angela is in fucking Marvel Comics, because Neil Gaiman and lawsuits and all this other bullshit, but...
It's just so weird when you look at the history of like why Image Comics started and what it became. It literally became the very thing it despised.
Yeah, like, if you just want to look into some weird shit, just go look up, like, on Wikipedia, like, what the Spawn timeline was, and it eventually goes...
fascinating! Just these stories have gotten so insane because they've been going for so long.
Like, remember that one time when the Incredible Hulk and Red She-Hulk fucked on top of a pile of burning cars?
No, I don't know that time.
But
I
I'm
don't want
sure
to know that time.
That happened. That happened. Look it up and
God.
prove me wrong.
I'm not going to. I'm just going to take your word for
I'm
it.
sure somebody did some great art of it in the Mona Lisa style, impressionist painting. Anyway, I guess that's it for me. Do you guys have any final remarks?
I think we should close it, because we'll be here all fucking night if we keep going.
Right.
I just want to say
this
that
has been going
I
on
have
for
an
3 hours.
article pending. I wrote one last week about how length in games is largely a myth that people should ignore.
Right.
And this week I'm writing an impression piece of Shadowrun Returns, and I finished both modules.
Right. Just so you guys know, as much stuff as I can remember off the top of my head, I will try to link, and I'll always link all the stuff that we work on between my website, what Brandon does, and when Chris and Garrett ever do stuff, I will link their most recent work or whatever they talk about in the description. And as well, we have an email now, so if you'd like to send us questions, comments, concerns, threatening hate mail, something that's on fire, I don't know.
Actually, don't send us threatening hate mail. Just don't.
Yeah. No, send it to Brandon's Twitter account. That'll be better. If you'd like to send us any sort of questions for us...
I will troll you back, though, if you do that, just for forewarning. You will be made fun of if you do that.
And also, just know, if you'd like to send us any questions regarding video games, comics, TV, literally whatever, we will try to discuss it to the best of our ability. You can do that at thetexturepod@gmail.com. I will write that in the description as well, in case you can understand me. And until then, I guess that's been it, guys. So, thank you to Chris, and I keep trying to say everyone's screen names, to Chris, Garrett, and Brandon for joining me this week.
We're going to have to start getting used to that at some point.
Yep.
Eventually. And, of course, I have been Sam for all you guys, and links in the description for all kinds of stuff, and our Twitter accounts if you'd like to follow our inane ramblings. Until then, we will see you guys next week on the next edition of the Texture Pop. Poppin'. Bye, everybody.
Later.
Bye.